Welcome to the Dojotalkpodcast. Please remove them shoes before entry. Master is here, and you still have not taken off your shoes.
Yeah. Living every day to define man's mission. Looking to the sky for divine transmission. Deaf man's vision makes the blind man listen. Eyes on the prize, this is blind ambition. Thank you.
Welcome to another edition of the Dojo Talk Podcast. We're on episode number 90. I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way. I had a food coma about 10 minutes before we started recording. I'm not fully recovered, but I'm alive. I'm here, joined by, familiar faces, returning guests / roommates, Anti-Cool, and Joey from the Sports Sound Off. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good. That's the Anti-Cool NP now, by the way.
Joey was...
in addition to being a reverend, I am now a notary.
Hey.
As of like an hour ago.
Congrats.
And
so what important task will you be trusted with?
Charging people $25 so I can drive to their town and sign papers.
Yep, that's what it is.
Hey, that's not bad. That's not bad. Hold on, though. So are you like, is it only within like a certain jurisdiction, like a certain town, or?
I'm pretty sure it's just Jersey.
Oh, so you can go like the whole state.
Yeah, if you're asking me to go all the way down to Atlantic City or like, I don't know, Cape May or whatever, I'm charging a shit ton of money. So, if you're not in North Bergen and you want to give me a shit ton of money, be my guest.
That's what's up. I don't know anybody who's a notary. You might be a first.
Yeah, you know a lawyer, you probably do.
Joey, what's going on, man? How's it go?
All's well. All's well on this Monday of E3 week and fight week and...
It's never not fight week.
It's never not fight week, you're right. Some of us are fighting battles on multiple fronts. So.
Have y'all been getting a ton of rain lately?
Just like yesterday.
No, but every time I get rain, there's a power outage, so I'm hoping I never see rain.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's been, Mother Nature's been killing us, like, terribly lately. And it's looking all right outside now, but I don't know how this night gonna go. So,
I mean, it's fine right now. We'll see how it is.
We'll see how it is after this episode, after we record for 5 hours.
It might be a sign from God, if it starts raining as it starts. So, a sign from Yoel Romero.
Well, we got a fun show planned ahead. We're gonna try to keep it short, but you know how that goes. So.
We're gonna breeze right through.
Yeah, we're gonna just
smooth and easy.
We'll get through everything in a timely fashion.
Absolutely.
As best we can.
No sidetracking. As we open on Notary of the Publics.
All right, we're just straight shooting. We're straight shooting.
Bringing it to you know how.
We'll see you in 3 hours.
Right.
Well, 3 hours is 3 hours. I mean, we didn't do our jobs. It's got to be at least. It's got to be like time and a half. You gotta get at least time and a half here.
I'm already congratulating anybody if you make it through to the other side. If you're listening to this right now,
you really need to get your bang for your buck. I'm just saying. So.
I mean, the good thing is if I tell people if you start our podcast, if you listen maybe at like 12, you could get through like the rest of your work day. Well, depending on how early you get to work, but so by the time we're done, you can go home. So just think of it like that.
Yeah, we're like a good work associate.
Yeah.
Help your day go better.
There you go. So before we get started with news and such, just gonna give a shout out to the top cities. So coming in at number 1, Los Angeles, California. Coming in at number 2, Stone Mountain, Georgia. Number 3, Columbus, Ohio. Number 4, I'm probably gonna butcher this. Hold up, let me try this again. Hyderabad, India. And at number 5, Kawaguchi, Japan. And a couple other people tied. Houston, Texas, Brooklyn, New York. And United Kingdom is slithering around here also. So, yeah, shout outs to all of the listeners. Thank you guys. If you're in Japan and you're listening right now, you should go to iTunes and give us a like and a rate, all that good stuff. And drop a review. We definitely want to get more reviews going. But those are the top cities.
You said Stone Mountain, Georgia, right?
Yep.
Does anybody know who hailed from Stone Mountain, Georgia?
Donald Glover?
Yeah, I have no clue.
Donald Glover, get out of here. You mentioned I'll drop a teaser. You mentioned slithering.
Is it Jake the Snake?
There you go. Jake the Snake Roberts was billed from Stone Mountain, Georgia.
There we go.
I didn't even know they had snakes in Georgia.
Well, they had one, apparently.
Huh?
South has a lot of weird creatures. Why are all of their insects like mutated?
If you're out in the sun all day, you gotta be built strong.
Like they don't have like normal bees and like flies. Like everything's just they're like hyper versions of what the regular insect should be. It's really strange.
I imagine it's like why they have all the good football players. Because like there's just no snow or nothing to kill them off. So,
okay, but then is that why old people go there?
I mean, yeah.
So they can be preserved naturally by nature?
Exactly.
Oh man, I had my first bee incident.
Oh, your first. Oh.
Yeah, had to pull over because this bee was really comfortable, just kind of chilling on the window inside of the car. So luckily, when I went to see Infinity Wars, they gave me like this little booklet, like pamphlet thing, and I attacked the bee with the pamphlet.
Wait a minute, you pulled over to confront a bee in your... Doesn't seem a tad bit over the top.
Yes, he was chilling. He was just in the car. I didn't like him in there. I didn't kill him. I just swatted him until he left.
I just want to point out you said attacked.
I mean, I swung at him, so there was.
Well, I mean,
there was confrontation.
You were aiming to kill, but just couldn't.
Oh, I didn't want to. I just wanted to just shoo him away. I would hit him,
so he would sting him.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. Like I would hit him, and then like he would fall, and then he would go back and just fly to the same spot that I hit him from. And I was like, dude, you can't. I don't want you in here.
You're telling me?
Huh?
You couldn't finish a bee, is what you're telling me?
I could not. He was
decision.
He was very durable. He was very durable. He definitely had a chin.
Was it a big bee or was it a wasp?
It actually was not a big bee, which kind of made me feel less than. Like this wasn't even one of the scary ones. Like this guy wasn't.
What a heel turn.
Yeah,
like was it like a wood bee or something?
I don't know, but we solved our issues. Like I hit him like 3 times, and I think he finally got the idea.
We solved our issues. I beat his ass.
But he left the car, and I was able to resume the car ride.
You beat the shit out of him, then kicked him out.
He came unannounced, man. I don't like surprises. You can't just chill by the window in my car.
Anybody shows up at your house, be prepared to get an ass whooping, apparently.
Oh man, but so yeah, that was.
We're not gonna recover from that. I don't think we're gonna. I'm already toasted.
Before we get into this card or the news or whatever, I know Joey. I know you saw it. The Rose Namajunas.
Dude.
Oh God.
You saw it too? You saw it too, Sensei?
I did, unfortunately. I saw it probably about 2 hours before we started recording.
That's
Somebody
not
posted
even
on
the
Twitter.
worst one though.
It isn't, but it's
like the what's his name? Aubin Mercier one and the Tuivasa one. Like,
oh, there are more.
Oh,
yeah,
there's a bunch more, dude.
Oh no.
Like,
I made this argument before. It's like you're just not gonna be able. You just can't. Like, MMA shirts in general were bad and ugly, and like these are just really like it's worse than anything Affliction ever did. Like these are.
I guess for people who are listening for some context, so Reebok has put out. I didn't know there were more than one.
Oh, there's multiple, dude.
They have these. I guess they're trying to capitalize off of people's memes and like pictures and just randomly throw them on shirts, and it literally looks like a 2-year-old copy and paste job, and it's not good. It is.
So they put like the sunglasses on her, and then they didn't even bother to fill in the space between her body and arm.
Right.
Yeah, it's a very it's not pretty.
It's not.
But everybody's like, oh, they're finally starting to show the character of MMA, and it's like, if this is the character of MMA, we're in some deep shit, fellas.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna wear that. Like, even if you're a fan of the fighter, I wouldn't like. I'm a fan of Yoel Romero, but I wouldn't wear the Yoel Romero shirt that they put out. Like, it's just gaudy and.
When is the Reebok deal up? Is that
20? I think it was like 6 years.
22?
Oh.
Something like that. It's a while, but they're gonna get another. They'll just get another one. They'll get like they already have one. They have what's its name?
Did you see this Tough Dad one?
Oh, they stole from us.
Yes. I'm very offended I didn't get my check.
Hold on, so who's on the Tough Dad one?
No, I have no idea. It's just a dude in a mustache.
Just a dude in a mustache.
Yes.
Well, if they have a bee killer one, then we know they're listening.
Killer B.
Not even a bee killer. Violently attack but not kill bee meme.
Sorry if you guys hear me rumbling around. I just noticed my laptop is not charged up, and that would not be good for this episode.
Like,
I'm hovering about like 5% right now.
Perfect.
I'm just saying, like, there are fans who do this shit for fun, who make better stuff than the guys who get paid to do it by Reebok.
They just have to accept that they're not going to make any money selling these shirts. There's just no way to. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no way. Like, I've only, like, I grew up, I went to college in upstate New York where wrestling and UFC is a really big thing, as you can tell by the fact that they go like once every 3 months. And I saw maybe one MMA shirt. And that was like a Rashad Evans shirt, which isn't surprising because he's from that area.
Right.
But like, even the hardcore MMA fans, like casual MMA, they don't wear MMA merch. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the demographic for it anymore.
The only shirt I see that people wear are like the Korean Zombie shirt.
I've never seen a Korean Zombie shirt.
See, I saw it when I was at well, I have one obviously, and then I saw one when I was at UFC 169, or a couple, I think.
Was that the Dana one, the one that Dana was wearing?
No, this is old one from the company that like never paid him the royalties for it.
Which might be why MMA shirts don't necessarily. I don't know. Just like, I get it. I mean, okay, I've seen one McGregor shirt, one of the old Dethrone shirts that he had, but like, you're just not gonna. This is not a demographic that's gonna buy shirts.
But
I know
like, they're too busy.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a better way to put it.
You're not gonna sell a 35-year-old a shirt, like a tie-dye rainbow-colored shirt with Sean O'Malley's face on it.
Or Yoel Romero's, which has like 50 different things on it at once.
Exactly.
It just doesn't make sense. Like, they're trying to capitalize on the WWE, that they sell a lot of merch, but just give up on the shirts.
I mean, I won't say they have to give up, but like, you guys could just try a little harder.
Or try less hard. Like, they're either trying too hard or they're not trying hard enough. It's just weird dynamic.
Throw the shirts away. Throw women's MMA away. Throw everything away. Throw 170 away. Throw it all away.
Why can't we just have like a shirt with like the silhouette of Anderson Silva kicking Vitor Belfort in the face?
I wouldn't want to wear a shirt with another dude's foot going into another man's mouth.
I said the whole silhouette.
It doesn't matter. It's implied. It's implied.
Oh boy.
You might as
We're
well
off
put
to-
the Vitor Belfort Big Brother gif on a shirt.
We're off to a good start.
Throw the whole podcast away. Throw the bees away.
Oh, there. Well, we don't got to worry about that anymore. I sent a clear message.
I see. When they invade, it's going to be your fault.
Yeah, I was gonna say if they come back, I'm terrified of bees. So if he gets like his big cousin.
It just turns out they built like a hive underneath your car.
It's a long play.
Oh man. Oh, quick side story. I don't remember if I told that on here. I actually, when we first moved here, we actually did have a bee nest in our basement, and it was like somehow it was like inside of the wall, cause like we would go down in the basement to wash clothes, and there would just be like 3 bees down there, and it kept happening over and over and over and over, and we called some people and like, yeah, there's like a nest down here. So they tried to invade before, and we ran them out. So I hope I didn't trigger another war.
I see. Great.
So if there's no podcast next week, you guys know what happened. You know, I died fighting the good fight.
Or being a bully, depending upon what situation.
All right, so I'm not sure what news notes you guys have, so I'm gonna run through my list of just announcements and stuff I like kind of just saw this morning that I don't remember if we talked about last week or not, but I will just quickly run through them. So first on my list, Mighty Mouse and Henry Cejudo 2 will be headlining UFC 227. Brad Tavares is out of the fight with Israel Adesanya. I don't think there's a replacement yet. They said Thiago Santos offered to step in, but I'm not sure if that's like official or not. And ONE FC news, I have Martin Nguyen and Kevin Bellingnon, I always say his last name wrong, fighting for the interim bantamweight title on July 27th. Also in ONE Championship, Renzo Gracie's retirement match against Yuki Kondo, also on that same card. Justin Gaethje versus Al Quinta at UFC Fight Night. Oh, don't got the number, but that's on August 25th. Sean O'Malley is planning an October return. He's still recovering from his foot surgery. Back to ONE Championship. Lord, I'm about to butcher this name. The strawweight champ, Jingnan Jiang versus Laura Berlin. June 23rd, also on the same card, Adriano Moraes and Geji Usaquio for the flyweight title unification match. Oh man, I have a lot more than I thought it did. Jessica Aguilar and Jody Escobar rebooked for UFC Fight Night 133 in Boise. Nick Hahn versus Damir Hadzovic for UFC Hamburg. And the last 2 notes I have are Ed Ruth making his welterweight debut against Andy Rad at Bellator 201. Also on the same card, Carrie Melendez making her second MMA appearance against Tiani Vale. Oh, and then we have allegedly Brock Lesnar versus John Jones might become a thing, maybe, possibly. Sort of. Nobody knows. But, so yeah, that's all I got as far as fight news.
Is Bibio Fernandez hurt?
I don't know. Yeah, when I saw this for an interim, I was like, I didn't know he was hurt. Like, they just fought, like, what was that, like a month ago, maybe?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know how that works. I want to talk about the Brock and John Jones thing. I'm all for this fight. Because no matter who wins or who loses, they'll both fail their drug test and it won't matter. And we can all just be happy. So I'm all for this fight happening.
Oh, ye of little faith.
Man.
I mean, one of them is bound to fail the drug test. One of them has to fail. But if they fail, you know, we don't lose out on anything. It's not going to be for a belt. It can just be a nice, fun fight. You can throw it on a pay-per-view. People will tune in. You know, I feel like you can't lose with that one.
Exactly.
You can't lose with it.
Here's all I'm going to say about Brock fighting in the UFC as of right now. Dana White said specifically that he believes his contract expires in August. Whenever his contract is coming up, you hear UFC rumors and you hear Dana White saying he'll fight here or maybe he'll fight here. until he's signed to fight somebody, like, don't get too excited. Because I think they work in concert to kind of fuck with Vince McMahon a little bit. So if his contract's coming up soon, wait. So don't be buying your tickets just yet.
I mean, and
We'll
still,
know
I think
when
as of now,
SummerSlam.
and he's not even in like the from what I read, like he still has to get back in the USADA testing pool,
Yes.
all that good stuff. So yeah, this is like super early development, which could end up not being a thing at all. But if it does become a thing, I'm definitely here for it. So yeah, keep your eye on that.
Keep your eye out on summer announcements.
Yeah.
Or just have SummerSlam plays out, I guess.
Yeah.
Didn't Brock, I just saw this morning, broke some record.
He broke
Longest defending-
CM Punk's record.
Fitting.
Oh.
Fitting. So I do have something that didn't happen that I'd like to discuss. Primarily because I want to hear Annikel's opinion on this, and yours as well. Did any of you hear about the rumored UFC tournament lightweight gimmick they were thinking about doing?
Yes, and I'm calling bullshit.
I'm sure that it happened. I'm sure that they talked about it.
I'm sure somebody brought it up in like a meeting and was like,
Yeah.
wouldn't that be cool?
But how can you have that without Tony Ferguson?
All right, so I can't remember if I heard this. This might have been a headline I saw and just clicked over because I thought it was just a lie. So like, what was the plan? Or like, who all was supposed to be in this tournament?
GSP,
Yeah, go ahead. You say it.
Khabib, Connor, and Nate.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
I'm like, they can't get Nate to fight now.
Right.
I'm sure. I'm sure that they brought it up. I'm sure it was discussed, but like, I couldn't get on board with that without Tony Ferguson being involved.
I believe that just as much as I believe these rumors that Connor was allegedly going to step in on like 3 different cards. And I can't remember what headline I saw. Like he was supposed to step in at like 224 or something. Stop.
Yeah, versus RDA.
That what? Yeah, like none of that was going to happen. None of that was going to happen. That's just.
That's Connor keeping his name in the news.
Which more fighters need to do. Like, even if you're not going to accept the fight, be like, hey, I'll fucking take that fight. Like, just always kind of keep your name out there.
It kind of backfired from Ryan Moraes, but it didn't because he ended up winning the fight anyway.
Yeah.
So, like...
The lightweight tournament, in theory, could have been fun, though. But I agree, though. You would have had to throw Tony in there and gave him somebody to match up with. But, like, in theory, that could be fun.
When is Tony supposed to, like, get cleared to fight again?
He could, well, I think if you ask him, he could probably fight next week.
Yeah.
But the rumor was September, October.
And I can't imagine he's not going to hurt himself between now and then.
Let's be fair to him now. He is pretty durable. Like, for a guy who trains like someone who doesn't know what training is. He's pretty durable. He's only been hurt twice, from what I remember.
Like, he just wakes up and fucking, like, imagines in his head, like, what would be really cool to do today.
we just got to keep him away from cords and the grip guy on the set.
So he got that one time where his lung, like, filled up with liquid or whatever, and they had to cancel. Like, were 2 of the Khabib cancellations his fault?
If I remember correctly, one was Khabib getting hurt. The other one was Tony. I don't know if it was a lung or a neck issue, but he had something really serious. The second one was Khabib just didn't make it to weigh-ins, and then I think the most recent rebooking was Tony's knee exploding.
Oof.
And he's back training, so this is not like.
I mean, I don't mean nothing. Like, I remember Miriam Nakamoto, after she got her, I don't remember if it was her ACL or MCL or whatever, torn versus fighting Lauren Murphy, and like the 3 days after the surgery, she was just back in the gym lifting weights.
Well, that was Tony Ferguson. Like, he has the biggest. He has my sister had her knee like fixed up seriously. And I could recognize that he had the same reps as he's doing pull-ups with his legs straight. And I'm just like, stop. Someone should stop you.
Like, imagine if Tony Ferguson did actually stop, he'd just fall apart. Like, it's just momentum and adrenaline keeping him going.
He's tricking his body.
He is of another DNA.
He is. Some people are just they're cut from different cloths.
He's one of those dudes who, if not for MMA.
Yeah, like I don't see Tony Ferguson.
Tony Ferguson could not sell real estate.
Yeah, Tony Ferguson CPA is not happening.
No, he. I think he would be like a YouTube star for doing like extreme sports or something. Like he would jump across the mountains or. I don't know. Yeah, he can't live a normal life. I'm almost afraid of what he'll do when he can't fight anymore. Like,
having heard him speak enough on these UFC events, I could imagine a Tony Ferguson YouTube channel would create some interesting content. some interesting verbal content. I still don't know what a technical fall is, other than that he wanted to beat Kevin Lee by it.
Oh man. Oh, I hope he gets better though. Just don't trip over any cords or, just lay off the kicking pipes, man. That's a little excessive.
Be normal. Be as normal as you can be.
Right.
Yeah, I think he's out there, his calves kicking pipes.
He probably even when he wakes up in the morning, he probably jumps down his stairs to get the breakfast. Like he can't just walk down the stairs. He has to jump over the entire rail.
I'd be disappointed if he wasn't doing cartwheels down the stairs.
That's what I was thinking. Like he's doing Imanari rolls downstairs.
Oh man.
This is the same guy who did the Khabib interview, and he described himself as a Wolverine, a shark. It was like a Vitor Belfort list of things that, like a bear. I wish I still I linked it, and then he got hurt like a week later. But he was like, "I'm gonna get on top of Khabib, and I'm gonna have like Wolverine claws come out, and I'm gonna make him submit before I hit him." He's only he's MMA. Those guys can't exist anywhere else.
That's true.
Like Yoel Romero, that's another guy who gets us to our card eventually.
Well, I was gonna say, do we want to briefly go over the slacking that Terrence Crawford gave Jeff Horn? We don't have to do a whole lot to really dissect.
Jeff Horn came to America and got bullied.
Yeah. Like what I did to that B, Terrence Crawford did to Jeff Horn for 9 rounds.
No, because Crawford finished the Jeff Horn.
That is true. So he did it worse.
He did. Oh man.
Yeah. All I remember from that fight is the first 2 rounds were okay for Horn. I can't even say he won them, but he was at least hanging in there. But yeah, by around round 3, you kind of knew where the fight was going, and Crawford just proceeded to put a lot of paws on him, a lot of good body shots. Horn was hugging profusely, and yeah, he just ended up getting beat up. That's it. He just got beat up. He's out of here.
His team wants a rematch in Australia.
Okay.
His team should go sit down.
I mean, I get why they want the rematch, because what else are you gonna do with Jeff Horn?
Yeah, his team needs to chill out and go go regroup. Go
no, they need
find
to go
somebody
out. They need to cash out now.
Either that or
cash out, get your last fight, and let Jeff Horn retire.
It's too bad that Aram said he doesn't want to do anything with Adrian Broner, because Broner versus Horn could be pretty fun.
That'd be, oh god. Yeah, I'd be down for that.
I mean, what else are you gonna do with those guys?
Talk about contrasting personalities.
that would be an awkward press conference.
It depends. Would Broner be with the money team, or would he be with the zone that he turned down? He would have to be with Aram, but Aram doesn't want to do anything with him. I don't know.
Well, that was that fight. I mean, you guys should watch it if for anything, just to see Terrence Crawford just work. just go in there and just put a beating on somebody.
Let's get
and hopefully this puts us one step closer to him versus Errol Spence, which I would assume has to happen sometime within the next year or 2, maybe. Hopefully, if the combat gods are nice to us.
That actually brings us to one of the questions that we got.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We'll save those. We'll save those till last.
All right.
It's got to be. It's got to be. There's got to be some kind of a peacekeeping, I suppose, between Aram and BBC, right? Are those?
I keep forgetting PBC's still around.
Well, it is
Is it?
around.
Well, because like I'm so used to them being like PBC on Fox, PBC on Spike, PBC on ESPN. But when it's on Showtime, it's just Showtime Boxing.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I don't know if Arum and Heyman have a good relationship, a good enough relationship to where they could sit down and work something out.
Like I don't think Arum has a good relationship with anybody who's not like Pacquiao.
He doesn't have a good relationship with him either, seemingly.
Oh
Speaking of boxing promoters, did you guys see the video of of Don King and Tyson?
Oh,
They were at I don't know what event this was, but they were at like a panel, and like Tyson was already sitting at the table, and then Don, one of the last people to come up, so he walks up to the panel, and he's like, saying hi to everybody, whatever. He gets to Tyson and he like gives him this tap on the shoulder, and Tyson just spazzes out. He like threw like a cup of water or something at him. It was pretty entertaining. Oh, somebody's car alarm. Or either one of y'all getting robbed.
no, this is nonsense.
Okay. But you see it?
I'm laughing about car alarms and bees.
Oh.
Yeah, I did see the link of it.
He like aggressively threw like a cup of water at him or something. It was pretty entertaining. It was a very random occurrence. Probably should have known not to pat Tyson on the shoulder. But Tyson doesn't look like he likes pats on the shoulder.
But Tyson has pretty damn good reason not to like Don King.
Yeah. His quote here is, he talked in there like he was my friend and that was just bullcrap.
Yeah, that's how he responded. I can definitely see that. Why do I watch the Mike Tyson mystery show?
Because it's amazing.
I haven't watched it in a while, but I've seen more than enough episodes now to where I'm like, I think I like this. Like,
Just gonna breeze right through.
Hey, we're only 30 minutes in.
It's gotta be. This is the way it has to be.
I guess real quick before we go into UFC, I'll give a brief shout out and mention of the PFL card. PFL 1, my page won't move, there we go. PFL 1 went down at Madison Square Garden. This was on the 7th. I didn't see all of the card. I saw most of the prelims, and then I saw the main event and the co-main event. A couple of these other fights I missed or only saw highlights of. But I don't know, as far as this new rebrand, like at least from what I saw, it looks good. Like their production looks a little better. The Octagon, or is it Octagon or Decagon? I don't remember. Whatever. The like everything looks good. Visually looks good. The card itself was solid. Like the prelims had a lot of good finishes. A lot of people got sent to the afterlife. Steven Siler had a really crazy comeback win in his fight. Alex Nicholson needs somebody to another dimension, and Andre Harrison won a pretty one-sided fight. Lance Palmer got a rear naked choke. So I mean, I'm still not sure where this $1 million is coming from. I'm still just looking for that guy in the crowd who has the briefcase and he's just like scurrying his way out. I'm scanning the crowd every time I watch a card. There's got to be somebody back there. He's getting away with the money.
There's a lot of people in those, and there wasn't a lot of people at that show, so you shouldn't have been a tough find.
Seriously, who has a show on a Thursday?
At the theater, the tiny theater at MSG.
Right. Like I've been to the theater at MSG. Like I was there for Glory. God, when was that? But point being, like, you're not going to get a ton of people there. Like, didn't they do New Year's Eve there too?
Yeah.
I don't get these people.
They're trying.
They're trying, and I'll give them credit. Like at least from what I got from PFL 1, like aside from it was a fun card. This tournament format, like they're trying to do something different, and I can appreciate that. I think they have to realize you're not really going to compete with the UFC, so you might as well just find your own lane, make your own way, and just carve your own little niche out, and try to grow and expand on that niche as much as you can. So, shout outs to PFL. I'm glad the first event went good. I just hope you guys actually pay these people this $1 million. I cannot wait until their playoff is over and we get to the finale and somebody hands over the briefcase and it's half full. Of course.
Do we have a
I'm
rating
waiting.
for the PFL show?
Do we ever have ratings for the PFL show?
Yeah, I mean they're on a network.
I thought Nielsen only gave away like the top 100 though.
I think I heard something like that. I've heard that it's like up to a certain amount, but I've seen like the what's the name of that? Combat Americas, where their shows do like 90,000 viewers, and we get those ratings, so we should get some PFL rating.
I'm looking into this.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
I just look up PFL ratings and it just says NFL ratings.
Yeah, I'm checking on. Speaking of which, to kind of stay on the same path a little bit, does ESPN Plus release like viewership numbers?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because I want to know, like, I think that the only way we're gonna draw, there is apparently a PFL number. I have it, or I have Jason Floyd's opinion of it.
Wow, yeah, I see it.
Okay, yeah, it's not pretty.
Oh, what's it looking like?
116,000.
Oh,
What does NBC Sports normally do?
I don't know what their network normally does, but I believe that the WSOF shows normally do in the 200,000s, right? There's got to be an SOF ranking. But point being, like, I think the only way we're gonna know if a UFC Plus show does well or not is if we have like a comparison. I think that would have been a good comparison, Horn and
Crawford.
yeah.
Like I imagine we'll eventually get like how many like a report on how many people are subscribed to it.
Right.
Like that'll eventually come out in like an investor report or something like that. But I don't imagine we'll ever get like a number for the show. So we'll just have to trust Bob Arum and Dana.
Two of the most trustworthy fellas you could possibly rely on.
Like it's gonna be funny because like I can imagine them like doing a show, and like let's say Bob Arum finishes first and he gives his like post-fight interview, and he just says like we got 900,000 people on ESPN Plus, and then Daniel comes out like an hour later for like
3 million.
We got 3 million people.
But Bob said 900,000. That old fuck doesn't know what he's talking about.
He doesn't know how to use the internet.
He doesn't know how to. Back when he was around, they were fucking rotary phones. What does he know about it?
It's just gonna be week after week of them trying to top each other.
Oh boy.
We got the UFC peak numbers. Yeah, what are those skinheads? What did their skinhead audience tune in for?
Oh man. Has there been any update on Zuffa boxing?
Dan. Yeah, I saw Dana says they're not working with any sanctioning bodies, so no WBC, no WBL, no IBF. They're just gonna be their own league.
That'll be.
What if Zuffa becomes a sanctioning body? Like the NABF, the NABL, and then you have Zuffa.
Ooh.
For a measure, the last NBC Sport, the last PFL show that I can see any sort of rating on is 153,000.
This is what happens when you run shows on Thursday nights.
I mean, and that's kind of a bummer because like you can't compete on a Saturday. Friday ratings are like dead, so you're kind of stuck between. Try Wednesday,
Thursday,
Hump day card.
Sunday.
Yeah. I don't know. They got a tough road ahead, but I mean, at least the product was decent.
Yeah, the fights were great.
The fights were pretty dope.
My only suggestion is to space out your Andre Harrison, Lance Palmer, and Jared Roshaw fights. So they're not all on the same night.
I like it. I hope they fight. And I'm sure that they're gonna pay guys. Like I'm sure they'll pay the $1 million. I just don't know where they're gonna get the money back on this.
I mean, they're not. That's
Probably Probably not. It's not a joke. It's sad.
I mean, I'd be sadder if it was just like these guys coming together and pooling their money to try and make something happen. But this
Oh
is
yeah,
this is the owner of all the teams in like Washington D.C. just being like, I want to be Dana White, and I'm gonna throw money into this incinerator until it happens.
fantastic accent.
That's what happens when I raise my voice.
I see. It sounded like the Fight Nights Global guy meets Jerry Seinfeld. So it's like two competing cultures at the same time. I hope it succeeds. Like I want fighters to have a place to make money.
Same here.
Go ahead.
The old Bellator cards where they used to tournaments where they used to give out like $100,000. Was that was that $100,000 check, or was that like, oh, you fight 3 times and you make $333,000 or $33,000 each time? And if it's like that, was that like, is that how PFL is operating? Where like,
I thought it was a check.
like I know
I could
that,
be wrong though.
like I heard somewhere that was what they were. That's how Bellator did it, where like they would just cut you a $33,000 check every time you won.
Like kind of like how Tough worked.
Yeah.
I have no idea. That's a good question that I really don't even know the answer to.
And I was gonna say, is that what PFL is gonna do down the line? Like, are these guys even getting paid? Like, they're on salaries, right?
I believe so. Wasn't that the case? Like that was their big selling point.
Yeah, they get paid for like just being on roster, and then they have the opportunity to make $1 million at the end.
But what are they getting paid? I suppose is the question.
Yeah, and like, did they get paid for like showing up and fighting, or is that just part of the circumstances of their contract? Where like, we're gonna give you this money, and you just have to show up when we call you.
I mean, they were in New York, so they should have to release like the financials.
Yeah.
So you would assume.
We'll see.
We're gonna find out.
I don't know. I feel like those numbers are gonna look real.
Oh wait. I think I know what you're about to say, but go ahead. Because I wanted to ask you guys if you had heard about it. The MMA Pro League.
What's that?
The HBO project, the HBO guys project. I haven't heard about the salaries.
I haven't heard about anything about the salaries, but I heard about the format. And like, I had to double check to make sure that this dude didn't know what the IFL was. But they're bringing back team-based MMA.
Okay, well, I just want to stop you right there.
Hold on.
And point out that
team-based as in like 3-on-3.
No, like IFL style, like.
Yeah. Correction, it is SFL style because that's the Super Fight Leagues format.
Oh, true. So it's
we obviously just shouted out India, so we're not about to bury the SFLs, the pride of India.
Right. We lost him for like a month.
See? Get him back. Get him back. We still haven't figured out Egypt yet, but we're gonna keep India around.
Jesus Christ, Egypt. Where are you guys at, man? Calling you guys out.
Wow.
Now that never comes.
They got any bees in Egypt that you need to be concerned about?
I don't know. They probably got some scary bugs over there too. Maybe that's where I flew him back. I hit him, and that's where he just went back home.
Pretty sure you just killed Anti-Cool, by the way, because I heard him wheeze and I haven't heard him. There he is.
So, oh no, I think I did hear about this team thing. I didn't really read it.
I'm just saying, like, I like to go ahead.
No, I was reading what he said, and like it just like it read like somebody who didn't know what the IFL was.
So many years ago.
I know, but like,
how dare ask this guy to do research about what he's.
Like, it's not even that. It's just like he was in the fight business when this was happening.
Yes, he was.
Like via HBO. Like, I'm sure they sat down and had like at least like a cup of tea about like, do you want to invest in this, or would you like this to be on your TV? Like, I'm kind of baffled.
And here's the problem with the team MMA aspect of things. It only works if you get invested in those teams. Like,
right.
The SFL, they do it by like region, so to speak. So you have like one of them. Don't ask me how I remember this. One of the team is the Mumbai Maniacs. So I know that there's like Mumbai and New Delhi and like some other places. So it's like team based within these regions where, hey, if you're from there, you might want to get invested because these are your fighters, so to speak, even though they have American ringers in a few different fights. The point is, like, you can't really, I don't think you can resonate team based MMA if there's no region involved. Otherwise, they're just like tough teams, and nobody gets excited for tough teams.
Not at all.
So like, I mean, again, I want it to be successful because we all want fighters to make money and we want MMA to continue to grow, but it's not like you're ripping off a product that was super successful to begin with. So.
Right.
Maybe they'll find a way to, I don't know, they'll find some way to spice it up or something.
I mean,
it says each team has like a home and away venue. Or, I mean, each team has a home venue. So I'm assuming they have like cities, right?
I would assume so.
So yeah, it says like when drafted, players will be expected to leave their home gyms to go train with the team and coaches in the city of the team that drafted them during the season. The same way it works in other sports.
Wow. Well,
I don't know.
I'm gonna say RIP to this league.
I want it to be. Look, it's ambitious. That's all I hope.
I like weird stuff. If you listen to this podcast, you know I like weird stuff, so I'm down with it.
I mean, yeah. I'm all for a good train wreck while it lasts. So,
if you really wanted to do a concept like that, why wouldn't you break it up into fight styles?
Because he didn't think that far ahead.
I see.
Well, I think he really just wants this to be like. I think he just sees them like in his head. He just sees it like it won't matter who the fighters are, but if I have the teams, then I can be like an NBA, NFL type deal where it gets passed down from generation to generation.
I could see that, and I suppose if you go to markets that don't have major sporting teams, like you could probably pull that off.
Right.
Like specifically in markets maybe where there's big wrestling, like a big wrestling kind of market. I could see that happening, but
the Montana
just got shitted on.
I mean, all they really have in Montana is like, what is it? What national park is there? Like Zion or Glacier or something?
For Montana.
And Sean O'Malley.
And
oh yeah, they do have Sean O'Malley.
Far Cry. That last Far Cry game was in Montana, I believe.
And did that really do anything positive for Montana?
I suppose it depends upon it depends upon your alignment with certain matters, maybe. But no, but it could work. But you got to look. Let's goddamn it. Let's get back on let's try to finish this thought. Let's finish one thought for a second. I don't know. Like it could work. It could work, but it has to be in like you'd have to go to like Minnesota,
right,
or like Iowa. But they should have done it like
North Dakota, South Dakota.
They should have done it like based upon fighting styles. It might have been a little bit more interesting because there are still those people who believe like, wrestling versus jiu-jitsu is a big draw, or sambo versus jiu-jitsu, or all these wacky different styles of fighting. You could probably have a better rate of success if you broke them up that way.
Oh, no.
All I want to do is see the capoeira guy from Bellator come back. That's all I want. Marcus Aurelio.
Oh man.
You guys remember the early age of like when they had the wushu fighter who went to the M1 tryouts?
Oh, what's his name? Oh God. Was he like an actual wushu fighter, or was he that crazy dude from Jersey?
Jesus. I don't know if he was crazy. I just remember him going. They had like a big M1 tryout, and they like kicked him out, and because he was like a wushu practitioner. No, not wushu. What was it? Was it Wing Chun?
Yeah, I was gonna say it would probably be Wing Chun.
Yeah, Wing Chun. And they're kicking him out, and he's like, I've been a fighter for many lifetimes. Oh my God, what is it? Let me see if I can find it.
Wait, I think I know who you're talking about, and it's what's his face. Oh God.
So they never let him fight?
It was in 2010 because it's the first YouTube video that pops up, but they don't have his name.
I know him because he's Sean Obasi. That's who he was.
Right.
Because I remember seeing the video and he was just like crying and begging them to let him try out.
Right.
Because the Wing Chun kid.
Yeah. But I'm saying if you want to do something different, get a bunch of those guys, get a bunch of wushu practitioners, get some wrestlers, get some BJJ guys. You know, make sure that they have enough cross training that they're not, completely. They're not going to be completely out of their element if they have to face like a wrestler. But that's part of the fun of the idea, isn't it?
Yeah, but like, God, Obasi is a little special. Like two. I don't want to say. I don't want to say nothing bad about the dude. Like that, having that out there visible to the world is bad enough. But from what I understand, he's not all there mentally.
Is it like a again, trying to be as tactful as possible? Is it like a Charlie Zelenoff, where it's like kind of an act, but not really?
Yeah, from what I remember, it's been a while.
All right. Man, we've had Charlie Zelenoff getting name dropped on this thing.
Yeah, we should probably just start the card.
Nah, smooth and easy, real quick, and breeze right through it.
Right. So,
But I think that was hold on. But I think that was a good conversation about different concepts of MMA that could potentially have some success.
yeah, I mean, the idea is cool. I don't. Ugh.
You just can't do the UFC thing. You're not going to succeed if you're trying to be the UFC.
Yeah. So I guess anybody gets points for, obviously, like at this point, if you're trying to get into combat sports, you got to think outside the box because chances are whatever idea you originally had has been done already. So you just gotta do something different.
I want bully beat down, but for real. Where like every round's a different combat sport.
I'm just gonna stick with karate combat. I don't know about all these other.
I would be totally fine with Tony Ferguson hosting a bully beatdown.
That'd be mean.
Because that shit would be for real. It would not be.
Because Tony Ferguson's a real life bully.
He would probably kill him. Like, I think they would die.
Who's the fighter who was on Bully Beatdown? Guy's ass beat.
Oh, that happened?
Yeah. Let's save it for some other time then.
That had to be embarrassing.
Yeah. I think he got kicked out of his gym and everything.
I was gonna say, you can't go back to the gym after that. Hold on, what does that do to the person who called? I called you in to beat up my bully.
Well, I mean, none of them are real.
Oh man, that's still bad though. That's not a good. It's not a good look.
Tony Ferguson. Now I'm imagining Tony Ferguson on random shows, random reality shows.
Oh man.
Could you imagine going on Intervention and it's Tony Ferguson trying to get you to go to rehab?
I would go.
You would definitely be going to rehab.
I would have to go. Like if Tony Ferguson had to tell you to go to Intervention, like you're probably so far gone. Like it's a miracle that you're even alive still. That he
Tony Ferguson is the host of Intervention.
So the guy who guy's ass beat on Bully beat down by the bully. He's a career MMA. Like he's fought like Nick Diaz and George St. Pierre and Joe Stevenson. His name is Thomas Denny.
Oh, I do remember that name.
But he also holds a win over Malipet Sasaprapa. Actual like legitimate Muay Thai fighter.
Oh my god!
But it's only because Malipet hit him with an elbow and like shattered his face. And that was illegal.
Who else could we? I'm trying to think of who else could. Francis Ngannou would get you to go to rehab if he was the Intervention guy.
Yeah.
You imagine just walking into the room and he's just like, "You're going to rehab," like you're going.
Yeah, I'd be like, sure. I guess this isn't a choice anymore.
Yeah. He would probably say it in the nicest way possible too, because he seems like such a nice guy.
Right. Or like you walk in and like you don't know he's there, and the door closes behind you.
He's behind the door.
You cannot leave this room until you go to intervention. It's like, all right, I'm sorry.
Oh man.
Oh man.
I just thought
But
a new show.
oh.
What if it's like
What is that?
white supremacist intervention? Where it's like
Oh,
same
man.
concept, but you get like some really racist guy, and then the door closes behind him, and it's Ngannou behind the door.
How is that not? Oh, that's a whole. I can't get into that. That would be a whole nother side tangent. That would be a wild show though.
I mean, if you think about it,
That was.
you would have to rely on people who could cover it kind of tactfully, but
I mean,
Oh man. Oh, we're giving away a lot of ideas here. We need to keep these in house.
did I ever tell you guys about the guy on Tumblr who I think it was in the lead up to like DC versus Rumble. Like he hit me up and was like, I could beat Rumble because I posted the video of Rumble and Justice and fighting.
no, we didn't hear this, but now we have to.
No, but like he's like, yeah, I could beat Mr. Rumble Johnson, and then I clicked through to his thing, and it's just all like Nazi symbols and like pictures of like KKK rallies and shit.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Like 90% of my blocked list on Tumblr is just white supremacists.
Jesus. We need to get that guy with Ngannou then on this show.
I mean, if anything, it just make them more scared of black people.
No, I'd imagine that. Look, Francis Ngannou could probably. What would we call it? Scared straight into the 20th century or something like that? Like, what would it? I don't know.
Sometimes fear is a good thing.
Francis Ngannou tells me the sky is red. I'm gonna believe that fucking guy.
Yeah.
At least for the
Not
first
question
5 minutes. After that, I might have a shot.
I mean, I'm gonna just start running. Like, I can't imagine he'll get very far.
Ooh, you or Ngannou?
Him.
I don't know. I don't want to take the chance
No.
because
If anything, I'll just start
you
running
might
uphill.
you might catch up on a good day, man. He might have. Yeah.
We talk about Ngannou having bad cardio, but let's be fair. That's heavyweight cardio. That's not bad cardio. Cain Velasquez was a myth. He doesn't even exist anymore.
True.
And part of like that myth is just that Cain Velasquez was able to bag JDS into a cage where he didn't have to chase him for like 25 minutes.
Cardio's only as good as long as you can stay on top.
So it's a small segment of my life I try to forget.
What, this last one we just had, or JDS versus Cain?
The JDS. I try to block those two fights out of my memory and only remember the one that he won.
I mean, in all fairness, JDS doesn't remember those fights either.
Jesus.
Am I wrong?
We should just get on to the card.
We should.
I can't take this JDS. This slander.
Speaking of heavyweights who don't remember anything, Alistair Overeem.
Ugh. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Well, we'll get to. That was a prelim. That's crazy.
Now, fair, I guess, for lack of a better term, fair fucks to everybody. I did not see the card live until I got in for the Tuivasa Arlovsky fight. So everything I have is like recorded. So I wasn't there in the moment. I can't tell you if it was like way more exciting or way less exciting in the moment. I did know the results going into watching those fights. So like we're going to be real hit and miss here. So we'll see how we all sync up on it.
That's fine. I have a pretty good memory of this card.
I was up for the main event though. Just saying.
No. Yeah, so we'll just go right into it. UFC 225, rematch between Yoel Romero and Robert Whittaker. I'm not going in the background of the card. We've been waiting for this for a while, so if you're in the know, you know. If not, oh well. This podcast isn't for you anyway. But this fight, man. We're just jumping right into it, man. This fight, I was afraid for the first 2 rounds because Romero was so. I don't know. It's really weird, like watching fights by myself and then watching fights with other people. It's a different kind of experience. I can't really explain, But I don't know. Like I was afraid for like the first 2 rounds because Romero was really, I guess conserving his energy. He wasn't doing a ton, and Whittaker just kind of picking him apart from the outside. And I'm like, I hope this fight doesn't keep going like that. Like I don't want to watch this for 5 rounds because it's not, I mean, albeit Whittaker's handling business, but like we were pretty hyped for this main event, and I wanted violence going both ways. But my God, in the 3rd round, I don't know. I don't know what happened to Romero between 2 and 3, but the 3rd round, the man he just woke up. Like I guess he figured, you know what? Let me take these first 2 rounds off, conserve my cardio, and then I'm just gonna try to kill him these last 3. And Jesus Christ, man, he floored Whittaker with, I think it was a right. It was just a war. It was just a back and forth, just like it was like watching 2 superheroes fight. Like it was literally just watching 2 superheroes slug it out. I don't remember how I scored this fight, like in real time. Like I don't remember who rounds I get. Well, other than Whittaker clearly got the first 2. Literally, like just based on output, and Romero just didn't really do a ton those first 2. 3 through 5 was just a blur because I was just in the moment, just watching these 2 dudes just try to kill each other. And I think like one of you guys had said before we started recording, that head kick that Romero just ate, like you heard the loud just slap of that kick. I was sure he was gonna be out of here, and he just kept going. I think this. I was trying to think of this, and this actually ties into a question we got, but I was trying to think of a fight this year that I like was more exciting than this, and the only one that even comes close is Gaethje and Poirier. But I think this might, for me, have an edge over that. I'm so glad this happened. I'm so happy. Like this made me forget about the weight cut and like none of that even mattered. Like I didn't care. Like this was great. This was great. I wish I could give more of a technical breakdown, but it was just great. It was everything I was hoping it would be. It was everything I wanted.
Yeah. So like just going back to that first fight really quick, the weird thing about that was the fact that Yoel Romero won the first 2 rounds, I guess, because he's a 3rd round fighter, in the most literal sense of the word. Like, he's down 2 rounds, or he splits the first 2 rounds, just like kind of half-assing it, and then the 3rd round he just comes alive and just murders the person across the cage from. Like he's one. Like I think he's the best 3rd round finisher in like UFC history. I could be wrong on that, but like all his big finishes seem to come 3rd round.
The Rockhold fight, the Weidman fight, the Brunson fight. I'm forgetting some off the top of my head, but Machida. There we go. That one was really weird. Where he just decides the fight's gonna be over now and just bull rushes Machida and just ends him in like 5 seconds. Like I don't think Machida realized he was being taken down. But like so it kind of it made more sense in this fight when like he came out, he was just slow and just not throwing anything. He was getting his read on Whittaker. Props to Whittaker, dude, for fighting the most dangerous puncher in the sport right now with like a broken hand or thumb or whatever, and just not being able to feel that whole forearm area. Because like he was working, but good God, that like when he got dropped in the third and 5th round, I thought it was over.
I thought the 5th round was over. I thought he was about to be out of here.
Like legit just drops like a sack of potatoes to the ground. But that's not good.
Nope.
There. Like 3rd round is like fight of the year, round of the year. just Romero beating on Whittaker. Whittaker somehow like bounces back and just lands a head kick. That if that had landed on basically anybody else, but they probably have to retire from fighting. It was that hard and that clean and that direct. And the fact that Romero, who was probably dead tired, because I want to say it was like the third round, they went to his corner and he was trying to speak to his corner man. And he sounded like he was like 60 years old.
So his actual age is what you're saying?
His actual age, because there's no way. Romero is definitely like 4 or 5 years older than what he says he is. But he sounded so weak and frail. Like I'm not even like if you go back and listen to the corner audio. But like then he just comes out and drops him again in the 4th and 5th round. Like it's crazy. Like Romero giveth and he taketh away. Like he took away the title fight, but he gave us this tremendous 5-round affair. Honestly, I haven't even gone back through it to like look at like technique wise what they were doing. Every time it's just like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit.
Right. That's why I was like, I feel like words can't really. You just gotta watch it, like. And even when I went back to rewatch it, like I'm trying to do like breakdowns, like he's working the jab, or he's doing this, he's doing that, and after a while you just stop caring, like. Because it's just so good. There's no. I don't want to look at these slight nuances. I just want to see the violence because it's just that good. Like,
Yoel Romero reminds me of. You ever see those YouTube videos where like at a zoo where something goes wrong and you can see the animal getting closer and closer and closer, and then it does whatever it says it does in the video. Yoel Romero's like. I mentioned while the fight was going live, that he was getting closer to Whittaker and a little closer and a little closer. But the commentary was such that it was like he was doing nothing. But if you were watching closely, you could see him getting a little bit closer to Robert Whittaker each time. Then the 3rd round happens. And everybody's going to talk about Romero's everything that he did in that round because it was amazing. But Robert Whittaker is insane because he took serious damage, recovered to fight back for the rest of the round, and then fought the 4th and the 5th round like nothing happened. That is insane. That's what makes MMA so different than any other sport. There's a halftime in another sport where you're down 10, 20 points. Maybe you can rally back and get yourself in the game. You have 30 seconds to mentally process everything that just happened and then just go again. And he fought like nothing happened. And like the whole fight was just a reminder why we love this crazy dumb sport. Why you put up with all the bullshit and why you put up with fights falling through and why you put up with missing weights and this, that, and the other thing. It was just a reminder of why MMA is so amazing. I had it a draw live. Rewatching it back earlier today or last night, I think Romero should have won. But at the same time, I don't understand how round 5 isn't a 10-8 round. I watched round 5 twice specifically to try and see what it is that you could say that Whittaker did to
survive.
Yeah.
That was it.
I mean, it can't be that way. Like, we can't have a 10-8 round. We can't have a round that should be a 10-8 where if the guy's on his feet, it can't be. Like, if the guy's so beaten that a 10-8 round has to be a 10-8 round for him to be, like, basically, the fight should have been over in theory. So I don't understand why that wasn't a 10-8 round. I have all the respect in the world to Robert Whittaker. Yoel Romero, we need to retire the idea that he has bad cardio. He went 5 rounds of that. And even if you say that he took the first 2 rounds off, because I do think he did a lot more in the second round that kind of went under the radar of everybody. You don't fight that kind of pace and that kind of fight, and you can't have bad cardio. Like, look at Ngannou. We were just talking about Ngannou. That's a different kind of pace. Like, he was exhausted by the end of round 3. That's an example of a guy who didn't have quote-unquote good cardio. Yoel Romero fought the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds at a hellacious pace that would have tired out anybody not named Tony Ferguson, Justin Gaethje, Cain Velasquez, like your big cardio guys. He fought that kind of pace and kept his power, you know. So we need to stop punishing fighters because I heard it in the third round where Rogan's like, Yoel Romero's exhausted. It's like he threw 400 punches. Of course he's exhausted.
I can't remember what other fight he said that, and it pissed me off.
Like
and it's like,
RDA.
no, of course he's tired, Joe.
Yeah, it's like, of course he's like, there's a difference between tired and tired to the point where you can't compete. Like,
right.
He was tired because he threw 400 punches trying to finish the most durable human being on any hemisphere. So of course he's a little bit tired. But I guess we'll talk about the commentary probably a little bit later.
But that was believe you me, we're talking about that commentary.
Well, that was a bugaboo. The weird thing is that I want a rematch, but I can't trust Yoel Romero to make the weight for the rematch. And so now you're kind of in an awkward position where Romero, Whittaker, Gastelum, Weidman, they've all basically fought each other, so to speak. Weidman's beaten Gastelum, Romero beat Weidman, but I just saw Whittaker beat Romero twice. Even no matter how you feel about it, that's the official result. So middleweight's kind of in a weird position now. And I mean, this was the greatest fight I've seen probably since a long time. I probably since I couldn't name a fight. I couldn't name a title fight that great. So
I think also something just to
go ahead.
just keep out there, like, Whittaker, man, is a savage. If you just look at the resume of like people he's been on a streak of beating for like the last year or two, like, this guy has fought some legit killers, and he's performed every time.
I was gonna.
Like,
you want a hot take?
Okay.
I would take his quality of competition over Anderson Silva's quality of competition.
Oh, in a heartbeat.
So, I think if he beats Weidman, we need to start talking. We need to have a dialogue, as Charles Barkley would say.
Is he approaching some GOAT conversations?
It's impossible at a higher weight class because of he could be the best middleweight of all time if he beats, in my opinion, if he beats Weidman. Because who else necessarily stands out to, like, what do you want to see him beat?
Bloated Gastelum.
Yeah. Yeah, bloated Gastelum and
yeah, but I mean, okay, but Weidman beat Gastelum, so that's like you beat Weidman, you technically beat Gastelum. So you got to.
Oh no, yeah, I wouldn't argue. Whittaker is definitely. It's crazy. Like, when he was at welterweight, if you would have told me, like, I mean, he was good then too. He had his ups and downs, but like, I wouldn't have thought that this guy would be the one who would just go on like a rampage, man. Like, and like you said, just crazy durability. Like, anybody else in that 5th round would have been out of here. And yeah, I mean, you could argue that the ref probably could have stopped the fight at some point.
I did have a few moments, not to cut you off, but we probably should have discussed that, whether it should have been stopped. I'm glad it wasn't, but
I think they gave him a benefit. I feel like the refs know certain fighters, and he's just like we said, he's super durable. So maybe he just kind of gets an extra benefit of the doubt. That I'll give him like that extra 5-10 seconds to see if he can finagle his way out of this beating that he's taken. But yeah, I'm glad it didn't get stopped too.
Champion always gets a little bit of a benefit.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's earned it, and we've seen before how tough he is. So I would say he's earned that right. Yeah, man. But this fight was amazing. This was.
It's unfortunate, that, like, in a just world, Robert Whittaker should be the biggest draw in MMA ever. Like, just because nobody guarantees quality of fight relative to quality of competition the way that he does.
Right. He's like the nicest dude on earth.
Yeah, like he's a good. He is. If Yoel Romero is the stereotypical Cuban, or the most Cuban man alive, according to one man I know.
Yeah.
Then Robert Whittaker has to be the most Australian man ever.
Yeah.
Or the most.
Like, I don't know how you could, like, not like Robert Whittaker. I don't get it. I don't know how you couldn't.
And before we wrap up that fight, I'd also like to talk about. I have to mention it because it's my thing. Yoel Romero's post-fight interview where he he gave Chicago sovereignty from Illinois and the rest of the United States. But kudos to him for having the ability to, not the ability, but like the forthright to refer to it as his humble opinion.
Yeah.
So, and I agree with him. So I thought he won. In hindsight, I thought he won the fight.
But yeah, that fight was it was everything. If you didn't get a chance to watch this, just go get your life right. Like you have to watch this fight. It's everything you would hope it would be and more. I'm so glad that fight turned out the way it did because the fight that we're about to get into did not make me feel good, and I needed a good pick me up.
I legit almost turned off the card after it. I almost went to sleep.
Yeah.
Like, I was so upset.
So thank God for Whittaker and Romero, because you guys don't know the service that you provided.
Heroes.
But yeah, let's get into this. Colby Covington and Rafael Dos Anjos. Co-main event. This was for the interim welterweight title, which I'm still not sure why this was an interim belt, but that's just another discussion for another day. The word interim just makes my skin crawl at this point. But
it was the number one contender title.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Basically.
Go ahead, AC. What
I was gonna say they did. I'm assuming they did this because the last time they did Whittaker Romero, it did like 150,000 buys or something.
Yeah, well, that was because of Byron Killer Amanda Nunes though. I'm just saying.
She didn't show up to work, and
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Was she even on that card?
Nunes Shevchenko was supposed to be the main event, and then she pulled out like the hour of the event. As like the first fight as walking to the cage, she pulled out. I'm just saying. All right. People think I have a Nunes bias. Excuse me.
God, it's so hard to like even talk about this fight. Like I want to be fair. I'm trying to be.
Can we start out by just dumping on Joe Rogan and Jimmy Smith?
Now, but before I'd actually like to jump that real quick, just to provide a little, to be a little fair to Joe Rogan. I just saw a clip on his podcast talking about the death of the guy, the Anthony Bourdain, right?
Right.
And apparently they were really close friends, and so maybe he went into that event a little, not at his best, which would be understandable. Just wanted to put that out there before the article drops a lot of truth. So.
Now you can unload the clip.
So I'm gonna start out with praising Joe Rogan, just so people don't think I'm just completely, anti-Rogan, even though I am. And to be all fair in that regard, it's not all because I was it's because some of his other choices in life have been a little off kilter. But Rogan at times has been good, even great. His call of Holly Holm versus Ronda Rousey was fantastic. But like him putting Goldie in his place when Goldie suggested, Ronda's career had something to do with the fact, her career outside the cage had something to do with the fact that she was just getting her ass beat. But how do you just sit there at cage side and just pretend somebody is completely invisible? Because that's what happened. I'm more baffled than I am angry.
I can overlook the fact that he didn't see any of RDA's work because it happens sometimes. Like I've seen him do it before with like BJ Penn, Frankie Edgar. He kind of did it a little bit, like in the first fight. I have a problem with him basically questioning RDA's mental toughness. Like, I guess I don't know why it registered with me so poorly, but when he was talking about how like he's wilting and how he's breaking and like he does, I don't remember if he said he doesn't want to be there. Like it just made me really unhappy the way that he painted RDA, and like because look, fighters get frustrated, but I never watched that fight thinking RDA wasn't in it and wasn't mentally in it. You know what I mean? So when he and Jimmy Smith were like, he's breaking him, he's wilting under the pressure. It's like, dude, he's in there. Like, what are you talking about?
Like they landed at like the same clip. Like I'm
right.
sure like Covington had like a higher volume, but like in terms of strikes landed, they landed at basically like the same clip. I want to say it was within like 5 or 10 strikes of each other.
And then in the 5th round, he's like, he said, he goes like, I'm not trying to say that he's falling apart. And it's like, motherfucker, you said that 2 rounds ago. Like, I don't know why it bothered me, but it left a really poor taste in my mouth because it felt almost demeaning to RDA as an athlete. Like we've seen fighters quit, and there was no quit in Rafael dos Santos. Like I don't know, dude. It pissed me off a little bit.
Like he was tired. Anybody would be, fighting at that pace. But like, we're talking about a dude who like not even around before was just out wrestling Covington.
Right.
He lost me when he tried to compare Covington.
Oh
to
my
Diaz,
god!
brother.
Well, not everybody who pressures is a Diaz brother, but
I couldn't flip over the TV because I wasn't at my house.
I don't know. It's like everybody who pressures is a Diaz brother. He probably thinks Max Holloway is a Diaz brother.
Yeah, that kind of.
I think it is. Like I think Rogan gets like I don't want to say enamored, but like when they're like. There are 2 types of people who get at Rogan mentally, and somebody pointed this out that Rogan said something on his podcast, and Covington came back and like just shot on him for it. I don't remember what it was, but like somebody said this could be a response to that, like where like the Rogan was trying to correct something, but like the 2 people that seem to like real like I don't want to say get Rogan seems to get behind, just from my experience of like looking who he brings on his show on like the JRE and whatever, it's people who with big personalities and people kind of just talk down to him a little bit. Like he just seems to get like enamored with those types of people.
Maybe. I don't know. Like, and Jimmy Smith, by the way, you've been a professional and you've been doing this a long time, and you're good, but you kind of got led along there.
Yeah.
So, and it happened a few times during the event. I don't know if it's out of deference because Rogan is the veteran of the UFC of the UFC commentary crew. He's been there the longest, but there was like Jimmy Smith just repeated everything he said.
Like I had this whole thing about like just being angry at him and like just screaming and like I did with the Alvey fight last week. I just like I don't get it.
And it is worth pointing out that like it's not like it was like we're not unbiased. We obviously went into that fight wanting RDA to win, but at the same time, I don't think any of us would sit here and say that RDA won. Our critique is of the commentary, which made it seem like it was a 50-45.
Yeah, they made it seem like it was like like RDA just got completely slaughtered. This fight was nowhere near close. I mean, if we're being realistic, Colby won. I guess you could say like I don't have the stats in front of me, so I guess you could say volume and like control. But it was these kind of fights always piss me off because it's like you had volume and control, but like you didn't. I feel like it wasn't a lot of substance. Like you.
That is a fantastic way to describe. No, that is a fantastic way to describe not just this fight, but 170 as a whole.
Yeah, like there was no. It's fights like this, and I can't even just pick on Covington because I see there's at least one fight, at least like every other card, where it's just like one guy is winning like the position battle, and he's landing, but he's not doing anything really worth of note. and the other guy who's clearly landing the harder shots, but it sucks for him because he's not winning the battle of like positioning. So it's like, do you judge? It's like a preference thing almost. But I mean, I can get it. Like Kobe had a lot of control, so I'm not even going to complain about the scorecard. Like he controlled most of the fight. He did push the pace, but like let's not act like he put on some kind of clinic. Like he ate his fair share of shots. I mean, he did what he had to do to get the win, but yeah, people made this seem like it was like a wipeout. Like, and I don't think it was. I don't think it was that at all. Like, but well, he had positioning, but it was just kind of a lot of, I'm gonna throw this pit pat 2-3 punch combo. I just need to get in and lean on you for a little bit, take you down, and just kind of keep you there. Like, it would have been different if he was really just like beating away at him, but I don't know. This fight was really frustrating to watch. It was really frustrating to watch.
I thought his kicks were on point. I thought that was really good. That was a really good addition to his game.
He looks like his striking is getting. I don't think it'll ever be great. I think he'll be one of those guys that like his striking is just competent enough so that it'll keep you at bay. Like you have to respect it somewhat, and it's just good enough to set up the takedowns and to do what he needs to do. But I can say for RDA though, the one thing he did, which gave me, ironically, we talked about JDS earlier, gave me kind of flashbacks to that, where like he never really circled out. He kept getting his back put against the cage, and it was just driving me crazy. Like, God, this fight, Jesus Christ, yeah. Oh man, I don't even know what else to.
So like, I have a question for I guess Joey, because you tend to be on top of these things more than I am. Does Colby Covington have a fan base?
You know what's weird? No. Like, well, okay, correction. No, in a sense that everybody I interact with doesn't like him, and it didn't seem like he was very popular in, like, at the weigh-ins, he didn't seem very popular. At the open workout, he didn't seem very popular. At fight night, there was kind of a little bit of hit or miss with Colby Covington. Like, there was some Colby chants. There was some Colby sucks chants. There were the USA chants.
I heard the fuck Colby chants.
There was that, and there was like an RDA chant at one point. So I don't know if he has a fan base, but I have seen people who I want to tread so lightly here.
No, just no.
I want to. No, I'm trying to tread really.
Like, no, if you're a Colby Covington fan, you're either an even bigger fan of circus acts than me.
Jesus, here we go.
Or you're just like a bully.
I was actually going to go in a different direction. So it's better than what I was going to say. I think there is a significant portion of, at least on social media, from the very little I've seen, there is a significant portion of the fan base that might live vicariously through him.
Yeah.
And
that was very nicely coded.
No, I'm not. I don't want to. Well, because there's a guy we all know him on Tumblr who is the Colby Covington fan, who really cool, really nice guy. I've spoken to him. We talked about a million different things, and like I can't remember his name, so it shows how good I am with names. But I would never want to put him in that kind of a category, because he seems like a great guy who has like who's just an MMA fan who happens to like Colby Covington. Cool. But there are certain people who, if you follow, like, because everything's a rabbit hole. So if you see somebody tweet something about Colby Covington in a positive sense, and you kind of follow where that's going, like if you click on their account, you'll eventually run into something that makes you kind of go, And everybody's entitled to believe what they want to believe. It's like Chael Sonnen, where there were certain people who they liked the gimmick because they want to be the gimmick. So that's kind of how there is a significant section of the Covington fan base, I think, that is like that.
That's weird, because I see people compare him to like Chael and Conor with the trash talk, but I almost feel like there's a difference somehow. Like, I didn't really like the Chael banner, but like I got it. Like, I don't know. Colby seems like he tries to do that, but he's not good at it, like, at all.
See-
Like, it comes across very, like, when Chael does it, like, of course what he's saying is, like, crazy, but, like, I believe it. Like, he makes it sound believable. Not that I agree with what he's saying, but I can see how he might even think what he's saying is true. With Colby, I feel like he's just following an act, and I don't know. It doesn't seem. I'm not saying it's not genuine. Like, maybe he is. Maybe this is just him, like, magnified by like 100. But it seems so forced. Like, he wants to be that guy so bad, and he's just willing to say whatever or do whatever to, to just put himself out there. Like, he wants to be the shock value so much.
You see, I'm like in the complete opposite side of the spectrum, where like, who had a great dissection of like of Covington's just like mental frame? It was Jordan Breen, beat down with the bell after this Chicard, who was just talking about like how Covington's a bully, and it's like this. Like, Covington had a full ride scholarship to Iowa, like not Iowa Community College where like he was bunkmates with John Jones, but like Iowa, the D1 wrestling powerhouse school that's won multiple national championships.
Yeah.
And he got kicked out of the program basically for being a douchebag and a dickhead who could not fight with literally everybody. And you want to know, it's really bad when, one of the top high school wrestlers in the country can't land a gig anywhere else but at a D3 school. And at least in Breen's take, it was something along the lines of, you're somebody who has had something taken away from you because of who and how you are. But you found this complete other thing where you can embrace that and it'll draw you all the eyes you want. Because as much as I hate Covington, like like his stupid cringeworthy tweets about like fucking, I don't know, what was the thing he said about like Tyron Woodley would be like the dude who'd ask his friend to finish his hunt for him?
Who shoots the deer and then asks his friend to kill the deer off because he doesn't have the guts to do it or something like that.
Yeah, and he found
the other one where
he found an audience who maybe doesn't resonate with it. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of people who resonate with it, sadly, and they're the people who say Covington's keeping it real.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. But like who pay attention to him. Like, we feed into his ego and his drive for attention.
I think what Covington has realized, and he deserves credit for this, is there's obviously the PC movement, and then there's like the counterculture anti-PC movement. So a lot of the stuff he does just comes off as like, it's shock value to not be politically correct, so to speak. And so he benefits off that because he's made a character, whether it's an extension of himself or just something he's completely made up and found a way to utilize, that like a fighter rallying cry to these people out there who feel like they're being held down from, and I don't know, like, I do think there is a section of this audience that does
troll. He's a troll.
Yes, okay. No.
Like, I get what you're saying, but like, he's like a popular 4chan troll.
Yeah, but like there was a saying during the recent election that some people you mean to be taken. A reporter said you mean to be taken figuratively, but there are people who take you literally.
Right.
And so I think Colby Covington is kind of in that boat of being a guy who he enjoys kind of being quote unquote chaotic, but there's a section of the audience that kind of gets off on that a little bit. So, which is why I have to, like, I never mind that the fight's probably not going to be that much good between Woodley and Covington, but I really do not like the first press conference. I might skip those pressers.
Well, luckily, I'm not a press conference guy anyway, so. And this
Conference call,
yeah.
I might you know.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I'm expecting at least a couple N bombs.
Oh, come on.
Like, I'm just like it's going to be so much worse than anything we've experienced so far.
The other day, I linked to the Foreman vs. Cooney Legendary Nights HBO trailer, which was basically, for so many words, it was a fight promoted on the backs of, let's get the top white person and the top black person fighting. Like, it was basically racial tensions in a boxing cage, in a boxing ring. I really hope this doesn't go that way.
I mean, it is.
I'm just hoping it doesn't. I'm really hoping it doesn't. It would suck if in the same year, the same calendar year where we got Francis Ngannou to say fuck racism, fuck slavery, to then go to what might be some really ugly talk.
Mm.
Yeah.
It is an ugly time to be a UFC fan.
Do we think? I was gonna say, just to keep it on the him and Woodley convo. What percentage chance do we give him to beat Woodley?
I'm giving him 50.
I'm going 35-40.
Yeah.
Here's why I believe it could be 50. I cannot get the Woodley fights where he goes against the fence and just waits for a counter punch that doesn't show up out of my head. Like, I can't get the Jake Shields fight out of my head. I can't get the Rory Mack fight out of my head. And Covington is not as dynamic as Rory Mack, and he won't be as big as Jake Shields is, but like, I could see it being a fight where 3 of the 5 rounds are just contested, smushed up against the fence. And if that happens, you put yourself in kind of that toss-up situation. Because I don't think he can take Woodley down, but I don't know if Woodley could take him down. Or if Woodley would even want to.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm just expecting him to walk onto something, to be honest with you.
Oh, I can absolutely see that. I give him a fair shot. I think he has a very fair shot to win. But to stick with the division, because I haven't been on here in a while to rant about this. And by a while, I mean like a month. Where is the element of danger coming from at 170 pounds?
Pawns.
I mean,
Pawns and the threat that McGregor will show up, I guess.
but I'm saying, like, Till Woodley, Usman Maia, this fight, Woodley Maia, like, those 5-round fights, where is the element of danger in any of those fights? Like, even though I enjoyed them, because I did enjoy Usman Maia and I did enjoy Woodley, I feel like I'm the only guy who liked Wonderboy Till. Like, there's no element of danger in these fights. And they're going 5 rounds. So, like, how do you convince an audience to want to sit in and watch these fights?
You lie to them, and you just show them the Robbie Lawler knockout over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think I think that's why I'm gonna watch him in Kobe. It's like I keep thinking like he's got one more of those bombs in him. Like he's gonna catch somebody.
Woodley is the one guy I think who carries the element of danger. That anything can happen vibe when a fight starts. That you want to have in a big fight. But at the same time, I think welterweight is the division now. I didn't complete this. I was working on this earlier. Welterweight is the division that has gone the longest time without a finish in a title fight. Of all the divisions. So it's getting pretty close to, like, we need to reassess how we feel about 170. Some people do.
Well, like 170. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying I've already thrown the division away, so it's not me, but the rest of the people. Go on.
I was just gonna say, welterweight's always kind of just been, like, I don't want to say completely dull, but kind of dull.
Well, I mean with GSP.
Not even just GSP, but like his opponents were like Koscheck, Fitch, oh god, like Jake Shields, like, and then you had guys lower down like Stun Gun, like it's always been a weird division caught between these guys are too good of athletes to like get tired and not be able to hold each other down. Like once you get like at 185, 205 heavyweight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they're also not big enough to where like all of them are like throwing like power is really so much better than it is at lightweight. But they're also not quick enough. Like it's this weird middle ground.
it's like the midlife crisis, before you hit it's like the midlife crisis division, because then middleweight is your mid 40s and you're kind of just slowing down, and then you have heavyweights where you move like senior citizens.
Right.
So I just wonder, because we're coming off probably the greatest era of welterweight fights, ever, maybe. And now we're at this point where this division, you pointed this out a long time ago, that this division was getting old real quick. And now those guys who are at the top of the division have aged to the point where they're irrelevant.
Now that you think about it, like that era of really great fights, it was great in the moment, but I felt like the long-term effects were all of the old guys just beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, I mean, like, Holy's not here anymore. Hendricks is done. Lawler, who knows? Condit, unfortunately, hurts my heart to say that he's gone. Ellenberger, Campman, like all those guys who were having those crazy welterweight fights, they're not here anymore.
Yep.
So and Wonder Boy is like the world's most overrated action fighter.
Jesus, man. I was so sure. Like, I was 110% sure that guy was going to be champ. You couldn't convince me otherwise.
He should have been. Like, what? Like, I think we talked about this like after Wonder Boy 2, but like in the division with guys like Usman and Woodley and Masvidal and Covington, and like, how is Darren Till the one guy who was just like, yeah, I'm a kind of do this.
Oh man.
Like, he should be our saving grace. Like, he should be the dude out here spinning, back kicking former world champions and knocking them out in the first round.
Like I said during that fight, when you're watching that fight, all I could think of is, this is why they want Darren Till to be something so badly. Because he's the one guy who has like something different, a little bit of energy to him. A little bit of, he's a different kind of guy. And that's why they're going to push this guy until the wheels fall off, because who else? What else can you bring to the table that's fresh and exciting?
I don't, like, who's a prospect at 170 anymore? Like, it just feels like the middle of this division is so thick.
Dude, I started my Singapore write-up, and I was writing like Leon Edwards hasn't been in the UFC for like 5 years and had 12 fights.
God. Like, this is such a bizarre division.
And the weird thing is, because now that we've completely taken this over, the weird thing is, there are so many amazing action fighters in this division who are just going nowhere. Like Vicente Luque.
Yeah, they're all stuck in that middle pack, and nobody's really broke through.
Pons, Joban. Who's the Capoeira guy?
Dos Santos.
Zaleski. Yeah,
Zaleski.
That guy. There are some great action fighters who are just doing nothing. Max Griffin. I guess you have to include Mike Perry, Yancy Medeiros. Like, they're all just stuck in this clump.
Which is why it fucking like that. Like, I know you. I think you referenced like the UFC probably doesn't think of Mike Perry as a prospect.
Right.
And fair enough, but like, when the rest of your division is just so underwhelming, maybe you protect some of these other dudes you have labeled action fighters,
right?
And you try to get them up to speed. Maybe you don't burn them out by like having them fight 5-6 times a year.
I could see that argument, sure.
Like, and I get, and like, I'm not a Mike Perry fan in the same way I'm not a Kobe Covington fan, or at least in a similar manner. But like,
that was sneaky. That was very, very sneaky.
I'm just saying, but
very sneaky.
But if hang on to some of these dudes and let them, build a little bit of a streak. Like, get them some space in between their fights where they're not murdering each other.
Or give them guys who are like, there's never going to be a shortage of 170 is the last weight class of the lower weight classes where you can find a guy.
Right.
Who's not really good. Like, you'll just find a guy who can fill a spot. Give him a guy. You know, Max Griffin was not a guy. He was a really good prospect on the regional scene who hits really hard.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a very this division is sad.
Every time I think of 170 in prospects, I think of Eric Silva, and then I just gotta go put myself in a corner somewhere.
Like this so like it's the complete opposite of like heavyweight or light heavyweight, where like there's so much talent in this division, but the ones who rise to the top are just kind of dull.
Right, like it's the complete and it's like at heavyweight and light heavyweight, it's kind of hard to navigate. Like, well, correction, at light heavyweight and heavyweight, it's easy to navigate a dude like Tai Tuivasa to a third spot on the main card. It's not difficult, but at welterweight, it's a little bit more difficult. So you have to be a little crafty and you have to treat it a little differently. And I think that's one complaint that you can make is that they really don't treat those guys who might be a little special differently. They don't. We were talking about it before they did the shows. Pons against Usman and Wonder Boy against Till were clear examples of potentially fucking up two pretty good things. You know, because you put two great action fighters against two guys who were like neutralizers. And thankfully Pons pulled out because I think him and Usman would have been a rough go. But you almost did it with Till. Very close to fucking that up.
Well,
this division needs help.
It needs its own matchmakers. Like
that would actually be a good idea.
You can't have Shelby splitting time with like, you know, trying to book 170 and then trying to book like, you know, light heavyweight.
True. And, you know, you need like there needs to be a meeting where everybody gets into a room and they all say who are the guys in these divisions who can become something. And then you treat those guys differently, the same way you treated Conor McGregor differently. You didn't give Conor McGregor Darren Elkins and Jeremy Stevens and Clay Guida when Clay Guida was asking for a fight, or Charles Oliveira. You gave him Dennis Seaver. And you gave him Cole Miller. Not that those... Go ahead.
Yeah, not that those guys are bad, but they're in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, you treat your specialty acts differently.
I don't say they're bad, but Dennis Seaver.
But like even his hard test was like somebody who played into his style, like Dustin Poirier
and Holloway on short notice,
right?
In a fight where they both got hurt.
Oh man,
I'm just like, ugh.
It's not like 155 where if you flip a coin, you have a new 155-pound prospect to be excited about every week.
Right. I'm not crazy. It is Shelby who's booking this division, right?
I believe so.
Do you think that's part of the problem?
What, like, there's just two matchmakers?
No, Shelby. Like, Shelby is used to booking in divisions where they're also Shark Tanks, but the metagame of those divisions are so much more dynamic and fun and diverse.
Could be.
Where, like, you know, like, it's a little harder to come up with a bad fight like bantamweight, or a bad stylistic clash, I should say.
It doesn't, like, I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird. It's weird that 170 has eroded so quickly. It's not. And
I hope it doesn't become is 170 like the lower weight class dad division? Is that what we're about to get?
That's what it feels like.
Is this the beginning stages?
It's like, it's like the, Jesus Christ. It's the dad who makes the sketchy Facebook posts. With the, you know, with those, I'm not saying, I'm just saying memes. It's the dad who has the burner Instagram.
Oh, man.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, it was bound to happen eventually, right? I guess like middleweight became the new light heavyweight. So,
it happened so fast. I think we all got caught up in the moment, and then we didn't realize what was.
Like Robbie Lawler was here, then he was gone.
Yeah.
It does feel like that. It feels like your favorite show where your favorite character is just dead one week, and then you got to watch the rest of the episodes, and you're just like nothing. There's nothing there to connect to you anymore.
Exactly.
Life happens fast.
Tyron Woodley vows to take Colby Covington's life. We're off to the races.
If he does that,
come on, nah. don't say anything because then I'm gonna have to. Stokes isn't here. He can't smooth things over.
Will knocking out Colby Covington make Tyron Woodley into a fan favorite?
Oh, most definitely.
Dude, I don't. I think that might be what they call in pro wrestling a heel program, where it's like two anti cools fighting. two heels working it out.
I don't know, but this.
Can we agree to make Warley Alves the?
He's the real
UFC
final boss. There we go.
UFC weight champ.
I'm all for it.
You know what though? All honesty, Colby Covington did I'm getting worked up now. Colby Covington did everything he had to do to win that fight.
Yeah,
so
he did what he was supposed to do. It's just not what I wanted him to do.
Tell me, why can't you make weight?
You know what? Let's just go to the next fight. I could rant about whatever. Colby won. He's an interim champ. Whatever.
This next fight might make me as worked up as the previous one. I can sense that Anna Cole and I are about to have a fist fight.
Well, let me get my opinion out the way first. Holly Holm, Megan Anderson. I was really hyped.
This fight happened.
I don't have a fist fight. Maybe we'll just all agree.
I was actually really hyped for this fight. I've been looking forward to see Megan Anderson make her debut. I was pulling for her to win. I just wanted. Featherweight is like 4 people. Well, I don't know. Does Ronda me count anymore? I don't know what she's doing nowadays. But
she said she went back to 135.
Okay.
She's also a cop.
Is she really?
Yeah, she's a full-time cop in like the Netherlands.
Oh,
For her.
but I wanted Megan to win. I just wanted some new blood, just a new face, a new something to get excited about. Yeah, she gave Holly Holm that one flurry, and Holly said, "No, we're not doing this," and proceeded to kind of just have her way with Megan. Yeah, Holly just shut Megan down. It was really weird to see because Megan's she's like 5'10". I want to say
Megan's 6 feet tall.
Yeah, she's got to be 6 foot. She is all of 145. Like she's really long. She's all of 145.
Like she is a legitimate 145 pounder.
And then Holly just had her way with her. Like took her down, passing guard, just kind of doing whatever she wanted.
Got some mount.
Huh?
Got some mount.
Yeah, got mount. Yeah, like Holly shut Megan down. I thought it was a really impressive performance. Like it was one of those matches where I was like, I'm hurt because the person I'm rooting for is losing, and by like the 3rd round, I was like, all right, it's kind of Hail Mary time. But I couldn't even hate on Holly because it was a really good performance. Like I said, she got in trouble for that brief moment in the first, and after that moment, it was like, all right, I'm just gonna take you down and beat you up and do whatever I want. And you know, for Megan, obviously. I mean, clearly this is a step up in competition. You're fighting legit, like, one of the best fighters on earth. So, obviously a learning experience, definitely a learning curve for her. But Holly did really great. Like, this is one of her better performances that I've seen. So, I was actually really impressed with Holly. I liked the takedown part of her game that she showed. Still hoping to see Megan back. I will say this for Megan though. In the little bit we got to see in the stand-up, to me she seemed a lot more controlled. Because I feel like in her Invicta fight, she was really like, she's kind of wild. She's kind of like a loose cannon. And I feel like in this fight, she at least seemed a bit more composed in the brief moments it was on the feet. But you know, it didn't stay on the feet too long. But yeah, man, Holly was awesome this fight. She did what she needed to do to get the W. She neutralized Megan as well as anybody else I've ever seen. So shout outs to Holly. That was an awesome performance. And now you guys can have your Western shootout.
You want to go first?
There you can go.
Throw the whole division away. Just throw it away. Throw it away. Just get rid of it. You got Cyborg for 2 more fights.
One more.
Well, does she have 1 more or 2 more?
I think it's 1 more.
Either way, you have Cyborg for a short time.
Can't.
And you have Cyborg for a very short time. You have Amanda Nunes maybe pinch hitting at 145 for 1 fight. Probably not for much longer. Holly Holm doesn't know which weight class she wants to compete in. And your top prospect just got dominated on TV, on pay-per-view. You're doing a tough for that weight class, and every single competitor thus far is basically a 125er or a 135er. You don't seem to have a good idea of how to fix 135, but I'm supposed to entrust in you as an organization to bring up 145. Why? Just throw the division away. Just do Cyborg fights, and when she's gone, go back to 135. Fix 135 first. Because otherwise, there's just no point. Holly Holm looked great, so good for her. I have there's no disrespect for Holly Holm, but it's like when Frankie Edgar beat Yair Rodriguez, where it's great that he won, great for him, but it did significant damage to the division long term. So that's all I got.
All right, so if you don't mind, can you repeat the last 3 minutes?
God, I heard you leave too.
Yeah.
Throw the division away. It's simple. I'll sum it up quickly. The division has no depth. The champion will be gone. Amanda Nunes is going to pinch hit in the division for a bit and then go back down. You're doing a tough that has 125ers and 135ers in it. Just abandon the division. And your top prospect just got Yair Rodriguez.
Right.
Just abandon it. Burn it down.
Okay. I mean, I get, this all comes down to what they're going to do with Cyborg. I guess. Do they want her back? Is she really leaving? Is she staying? Like,
Didn't she try to go box or something?
She wants to go box, but like she wants to go box in like the UFC's time, I think. Because that's just free marketing.
She wants to fight Brackus, right?
Yes.
Brackus?
Breakhouse. Cecilia Breakhouse. I don't know Norwegian. Like you said, it all comes down to what they want to do with Cyborg. Do they want to keep her around? Is she more trouble than she's worth? She was like what, the 3rd top grosser last year in the one pay-per-view she did.
Which one?
The home one. Like, I think they want. I think they'll want either the Nunes fight or the home fight for her in her last fight. I don't even know which one makes more sense. But if Cyborg leaves, then fine, sure, throw 145 away. Leave the tough footage in the vault. Forget about it.
Just bring them in at their natural weight classes.
Well, now there are a couple of girls on that show who are legit 145ers, like Gisette Cotton.
Gisette Cotton and Cindy Dandois.
Yeah.
That's it. No, and what's her name?
Pam Sorensen?
Yeah, Pam Sorensen.
And the lingerie football player.
Caitlin Young, didn't she try out for 145 as well? I don't know, whatever.
She did. Yeah, if Cyborg is not sticking around, then fuck it. Blow up the division. I don't care. If she is, I don't know, invest. Actually invest. It shouldn't have taken. How long has Cyborg been in the UFC?
2015.
It shouldn't have taken almost 4 years for them to have gone off their asses and made the division if they really wanted it. It really shouldn't have.
I mean, in a few defenses, they did want Megan Anderson to fight way before that, but she's had a million legal issues or whatever. They wanted to showcase her on that Australian card, and she didn't show. They can't get her into Australia or whatever the case may be with that. Whatever the rumor is there, because I don't want to cast aspersions on anybody's standing in whatever country, but they couldn't get her to do that because they were talking about wanting to do Whittaker versus Bisping and then her on the card with Mark Hunt, and it just never materialized. I forgot who. There was another fighter they wanted to try to get in. Pam Sorensen. Cyborg's camp wanted to do a Pam Sorensen fight, and they're like, nobody's gonna buy that. So they've tried, but they've just. If you can't fix 135, I don't trust you to develop 145.
And that's my whole, I guess, issue. Like, 135 and 145 we're never going to be easy. Like,
No.
And we were saying this, especially about 145, long before Ronda lost and just decided to fuck off to wrestling.
Right.
Like, this was always going to be a challenge. It was always going to require the UFC to put a little bit of extra time and a little bit extra effort, just like it did with the heavyweight division. Just like it's going to be like moving forward with light heavyweight, where like they're going to have to do a whole damn show in Russia just to like, I'm assuming, lure some of these dudes in so they can have an actual division there. But like this I'm not saying like if they had started back in 2015, this division would have like 50 women in it.
Right. I know you.
Yeah, but like there's a little bit of time and investment, like doing like the extra stuff that they did for like the Bellator, the heavyweight term. What was the season where they got Matt Mitrione and like Brendan Schaub, Tough 10,
yeah.
Doing something like that? Like, I get it. It was never going to be easy.
Right.
But, like, the UFC doesn't want anything that's not easy. I think that's my point.
I think that's a reasonable critique. I would counter that with 135, they did try. I mean, they've tried. I think they have tried. I think the problem is that everything they try fails. Like, they tried to do it. Like, they've been trying to do another 135 tough for women for a while now. Because you always hear the rumors that that's what they want to do, and they can never get them to turn out. And, they did a tough for women, and they were all busts. Juliana Pena and Rocky Pennington came out, but Pena's pregnant, and so she can't fight. And Misha Tate retired, and then Sarah McMahon, who really should have been she should have been the second coming of Ronda, never panned out for a million different reasons. And American women, so to speak, at least off the top of my head, I can't think of a lot of American women on the come up right now who you could point to as a potential savior for 135, 145.
Savior, no.
Depth, but I mean depth, even name depth. I don't know. Like, I think that's where Brazil is really gonna have its renaissance. Right. Because the Tuesday Night Contender Series for Brazil is full of women's MMA. So
115 is where it's at.
I mean, 115 and 125 are good divisions. But 135 was the first division. It shouldn't be this bad.
Yeah, I mean the same way in with middleweight with the men's, got old, got injured, got just a bunch of weird stuff happened. The women will not be immune. 35 started off pretty good, and it's gonna just kind of float around for a while. I mean, it'll still be there. You'll still have some talent, but it won't, there might not be a lot to write home about, like, outside of, like, the top, like, 4 to 5 people. And then after that, it just kind of dumps off into, like, a wasteland.
I mean, Amanda Nunes' last pay-per-view did under 100,000 buys.
It's going to really bring down her average.
She might be in the 800,000s now.
Y'all are terrible.
But I'm saying,
seriously, like she headlined two 1 million
major events. Yeah, but I'm saying, like, the one she had with Shevchenko did really, really poorly, like under Mighty Mouse numbers, and this one did apparently under 100,000 buys, which is disgusting. A UFC test pattern can do over 100,000 buys. We've seen them do it basically. So there's something wrong with 135.
But every time I think about it, I just go back to like Dana White saying, like, he could spend $100 million and nobody would know who Amanda Nunes is, and Well, maybe that's true.
No, that is
maybe
true.
no.
That is true. That is true.
I you know,
I don't
maybe
believe
maybe
so.
it is.
I'm planting my flag. This is the hill.
I
This is
just
the
don't
hill.
think he tried. I think after Ronda left, he just threw his hands up.
But like I said, they did try. They tried to get her on these shows, and she like all she did was bitch about Ronda Rousey, which pissed off the Ronda Rousey fans, who then never came back.
Like, and I think we talked about this. I don't think any of those women would have stayed around for Nunes.
Maybe not.
Probably
Maybe
not.
not. But they did stay for Holm and Tate, so there's something
there's
about
a-
Nunes that just didn't.
There is a big difference between Home Tate and Ronda and Amanda Nunes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
what is the implication there?
Let's see. One is the preacher's daughter. One is an Olympic gold medal, a U.S. Olympic gold medalist. That's important.
Yes. But what is Misha Tate? She's just like a hick from Washington.
Misha Tate, Ronda's rival, who somehow,
I guess so.
you know, she had the Frank Mir effect, where like she was just opposite this megastar.
Okay, but what about Kat Zingano? Kat had some good runs.
I really don't want to. I don't want to say sully, like what happened to her, but like.
Oh, okay, I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, her story.
I know that you don't mean any. You wouldn't mean any malfeasance with that.
Yeah.
It's a Yoel Romero setup.
Yeah, but
I mean, go ahead.
But like, I see the reason why. Like Ronda's audience was soccer moms and tween teenage girls. Like, and by virtue of that, Misha Tate's audience was that, and Holly Holm got famous off the knockout and everything. But like, background wise, I hate to say aesthetically, but like aesthetically, there's a big difference between those three and Amanda Nunes.
I can see that.
Amanda Nunes is an immigrant. She's a lesbian. She grew up a tomboy in Brazil. Like,
but Cyborg's a draw.
Cyborg. There's like, I don't know, like, if Cyborg's a draw so much as she just has her own cult. Like her own
Cyborg cult.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I
it's just like she, like, I don't know. Maybe just having her name associated with Ronda Rousey as like this great foil just built this like.
I can see that. I just think there's something in Nunes' personality that will never make her a draw.
And
no matter what you do.
Well, you know what? I think that's fair, but you can't tell me like there weren't avenues for the UFC to market her towards.
I don't like. I believe with Mighty Mouse, like compare her to Mighty Mouse. I believe that they messed. Well, they didn't mess, but they missed opportunities to make Mighty Mouse bigger. That's my belief.
Yeah.
But with Nunes, I just don't think there's anything there like that. Will not everybody's going to be a superstar, but there's something about Nunes that the audience just doesn't want. You know, there's just something that's not there for them.
Right. Like I see Nunes' story, and I'm just I see Nunes' story like I see Ngannou's story a little bit in terms of just like how topical and like in the moment it is.
No, I agree with that, but there were articles written about, hey, this is the first ever, lesbian main event, so to speak. Well, not so to speak, it was, and it apparently didn't generate any sort of. It didn't get people excited to want to see it. I want to hope that it wasn't a detractor. That didn't force people to not want to see it.
I'm gonna assume it did for your. I'm not gonna say average MMA fan, but like that casual average MMA fan.
Oh man, we're about to go in a really, really, really dirty direction here. I would assume the casual MMA fan would be more interested in an all lesbian main event.
I mean,
because you know that there's some dude out there who like once he hears that the first thing he thinks of is North South.
It's the same dude who bought Paige Van Zant's high school ID for $150.
Are you all right? You're right, Sensei.
Yeah,
You're right. You just know that there's one dude who's like, oh man, north south. Like, there's gonna be a guy. Like the dude, like those dudes buying the used tops or the bottoms.
But,
You know.
yeah. Well, if you're not a fan of Nunez, you have to deal with her for a while. Because if Holly Holm doesn't take the belt, she's probably just gonna hold on to it until either she just ages and can't fight anymore, or
The UFC says, fuck it.
they're right.
Throws 135 away. Guys, I'm telling you, just throw it away.
Yeah. Well, let's keep moving. We still got a lot to.
You know,
to
the
get
worst
through.
part is that we spent 30 minutes, and I just thought of a point I wanted to bring up for RDA Covington now, in the middle of this tirade.
That happens a lot.
Oh no, because I was gonna ask. I specifically put on my phone Perillo or Cordero.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna stick with Perillo. I think he I'm not sure Cordero would have been able to help RDA in that situation. Like, what RDA needed to do was, like, he was never going to be the aggressor here. Like, he was going to get taken down if he was.
Okay. All right. Just because I think I have a higher opinion of Cordero than anybody else.
He's a fantastic coach.
And
I'll
see,
go with Cordero,
Sensei,
too.
you were tired, and we have carried you like true friends.
I'll go with Cordero too, by the way. But
There you go.
We've been at this for a minute. It's real bad.
The next fight.
Smooth and easy and quick.
Oh man.
We are the DMV of MMA podcast.
Next fight. Andrei Arlovski and Tai Tuivasa. I know I said I remember most of this card. This is one of those fights that, like, I remember enjoying it, but I can't point out too many specifics other than, like, the entire fight. For every Arlovski fight, because he's one of my favorite heavyweights ever, I just don't want to see him get knocked out. And when he doesn't get knocked out, I count it as a victory.
No moral victories in MMA.
So I was happy he didn't get knocked out. Like, I remember, like, he actually looked pretty good. Like, he still has some left in the tank. Like, he still looks pretty in shape. He still moves pretty good. You know, hands are still, pretty solid. I don't remember where the blood came from, but I think it was Tuivasa was pretty bloodied up by the end of this fight. I just remember it was a pretty close matchup. I don't remember who exactly I scored it for, but I wasn't. I don't think I was too mad at the decision. And also for heavyweights, say this every time, any new young face, if they show any kind of promise, I'm all for it. So if the judges decided he won, then oh well, he just won. Arlovski is always the homie. He's always gonna be a favorite. But you know.
This is when the podcast has gone longer. We're just like, yeah, he won, whatever.
I mean, yeah.
Tuivasa's what, like 25, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, if he won, he won. He's 25. We need new faces, people who aren't 50 plus. So, Tuivasa did what he needed to do. They just had a pretty just back and forth boxing fest from what I remember. I don't remember this fight in much detail.
Like, my memory of this fight is, like, anytime Andrei Arlovski would throw first, he would just land. Like, Tuivasa really doesn't have a very good defense yet. Like, and in all fairness, like, this is like, what, his seventh fight? His seventh pro fight as in MMA. I know he did some boxing.
I did the big article on him, and now I can't even remember.
Yeah, but this was fine. It was great, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe not in terms of long term, because now he's set up for like a fight with Fabricio Verdum or something. But just because of how small this division really is. But in terms of just like toughing out bad spots, one of the things like that like heavyweights struggle with, especially like later in fights, is just they just can't pull the trigger. Especially when it's been like a hard fight where you've been busted open and you've got thrown to the ground a little bit. So, like, the fact that he was able to, muscle out a decision, even against the faded Arlovsky, is a really good sign. Because Arlovsky might not be what he once was, but, like, he's, in terms of just, like, technical skill, he's still, like, one of the top 15, 20 dudes in this division. Like, and that's why a lot of these dudes stick around so damn long. Because, like, you'll get a guy like, I don't know, Todd Duffy, who lacks all the technical gifts, but is just so athletic. He blasts through the bottom of the division, and then he fights someone like Frank Mir, who's faded. He fights someone like Frank Mir, who's faded, and then just gets knocked out in because he can't, throw a punch properly. So, like, the fact that Tuivasa is ahead of his record in terms of just like where he should be at in his career.
Concur. This division's growing. It's getting better.
Which is really bizarre to see.
Slowly but surely, it's seriously getting better.
Yeah, there, just everybody else is getting super old.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Let's not be negative.
I was gonna say we had 3 heavyweight fights on this card, and they were all pretty entertaining. Like, I mean, they were heavyweight fights, but they were good. Like, they were solid fights. One of them was a very brutal finish, which we'll get to in about a fight or two. But
I mean, the fight in between that fight and this fight is
I didn't see that fight, so I have nothing to add. But this division's we're getting a little better. Let's be patient. And the Contender Series has a lot of heavyweight fights on it, so we're gonna get some new talent.
And if we're being real though, like, Tuivasa's probably not gonna be, I don't want to say in his prime, but like in his prime for like another 7 to 8 years. Yeah, like he's what, like you say, he's like 25. He's a baby.
Yeah, I mean, I pointed out, like, he's doing things that I'm not comparing them. Correction, I will not compare them. But his only career resume equals are like Cain Velasquez and Junior Dos Santos in terms of being young heavyweights who win their first 2 fights in, the first round. So there was a lot of, you can see why they're a little bit excited about him. I don't think he's that kind of talent compared to those guys, but he got a tough veteran step up in competition, and he passed it for the most part. I don't know what he'll be, but I'm happy he's in the division because the division needs guys like him, even if he turns out to just be a Stefan Struve, even if he's just a big action fighter. Like, they needed that to build this division back up. So I'm glad that we're getting something different a little bit. I'm glad that we're getting these guys who are starting to come along. And if they can be matched, maybe they can do some fair matchmaking with these guys, it could be bigger deals down the road.
Exactly.
There we go. So, shout out to Tai Tuivasa, breathing a little bit of life into this division. This next fight. Oh, I got my Bellator fix.
I didn't see it. Was this worse than Hardy Julatov?
Yes.
You think?
I didn't think.
I don't think it was.
Not in terms of like entertainment, like in terms of like actual product.
That's what I'm. Yeah.
Their grappling was way bad.
Oh yeah, it was bad. Yeah, it was bad.
Because I would bet without seeing this fight that it was more entertaining than Alvi Volante or.
But we like train wrecks, so.
Yeah. In case you guys are wondering, the fight in question, Mike Jackson versus CM Punk. Before I even get into the fight, I don't understand. I saw so many people so angry at how this fight turned out. And I'm like, y'all didn't know what y'all were walking into? Like, my years of watching Bellator prepared me for this moment. I knew what I was going to get as soon as they touched gloves. I knew how sloppy and just strange this fight was going to look. And I'm going
to stop you right there, because that is an insult to all the Bellator fighters. Because if these two ever fall in the Bellator cage, they'd probably be the worst 2 fighters to have ever fallen in the Bellator cage.
Oh, I don't know. We've done some
I'm
prelims.
including Dada 5,000.
We've done some. Oh, come on! What about those prelims, dude? Where they get those jiggly weights who probably just showed up?
I'm including them too. Because Fuck
I
it.
don't know.
Relative to the division.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I think I'm just like speaking like in terms of just like the freak fight like factor. Like I don't know, like the way people complained about this fight is almost as if they expected this to be some kind of I don't know what they were looking for.
Do you want my opinion on that? Potentially.
Go ahead.
I think this is a little lewd, but I think they got blue balls because they were either Punk was gonna do something ridiculous and win, or he was gonna get finished real quickly, and they kind of got neither. So I think they got upset at that.
I mean, they got to see Punk get his ass beat for 15 minutes.
But he landed one good punch. He got a good. I don't remember what. I don't think it was right. He landed like one solid good punch in, and everything after that kind of went downhill.
I didn't see this fight, but Alex was texting me because I was driving back, and he told me Punk won the first round. So that's all I apparently know. Nah,
I didn't go back and rewatch this fight, so I can't confirm.
I didn't see it either.
But I'm gonna say he didn't. I'm gonna say he didn't win, but I don't remember.
You know what I'm gonna say? Punk looked like an okay amateur welterweight. Like if you go down to like what was it, like cage aggression in Philadelphia or whatever, and you're just getting there, and they literally just stopped putting together like the ring, and like the two guys walking out like that at the very beginning of the card. He like for 3 minutes he looked like one of those guys.
Could Punk win in the Alaska Fighting Championship?
No.
Okay. So he would not get the barber shop.
No weed money.
But hey, he's straight edge. He would need that anyways.
I mean,
like
then no Pepsi money. Like nothing.
It's Mountain Dew.
Well, that's not what he got tattooed on his arm.
Oh my God, that's what he would have gotten.
Yeah, like
listen, I take my AFC and SFL seriously.
Do you think they would have made him cover up the logo?
They'd have given one of those Allen Iverson armbands. Antico, you might get this reference. You remember the rapper Cage?
Yes.
I can't be the only one who thought when I saw CM Punk's hair, I was like, he looks just like Cage. A lot of you guys will not get that reference. If you know, you know. If you don't, just Google Cage.
To Google, I go. Go ahead, keep
on.
on.
I know it's so obscure. I could not help but think, I was like, he looks just like Cage, and it's really weirding me out.
There's a bit of it here. I see.
I think it's just the hair, because I didn't know his hair looked like that. Like I assumed, I don't know. It was weird. It was weird.
So I'm gonna. Antico, do you have a single technical thing to add to this? Like, is there a technical anything you could say about this?
Mike Jackson did some boxing. It was okay.
Mike Jackson at one point was so bored with the fight that he just kept looking up at the clock from inside CM Punk's guard while CM Punk was trying to throw a hammer fist.
According to him, he was looking towards his cornerman.
He looked up. He's lying. Unless God was his cornerman.
Yoel Romero was in the sky.
But the one technical thing I'll add is, while being dead tired in like, what was it, the second half of the second round or the beginning of the third round, off his back, CM Punk went for this triangle attempt. And it was the quickest I've ever seen him move.
I do remember.
I was told that there was. Go ahead.
He didn't. I'm not gonna say he almost got it, but he almost. It almost looked like a real triangle.
Right. It was like, oh, he could do something, and then 2 seconds later, it's like, oh no, that's not working.
I mean, at least the homie got one win last week, because he won his lawsuit against the WWE doctor.
There you go.
All I'm going to say is that I hope CM Punk doesn't convince other athletes of other professions of other places to not try MMA. Give it a shot.
And Ken, why? I'll get off this after this because I don't want to. I could rant on this for a while. Like I feel like all of my thoughts on this fight don't have to do with the actual fight. It's just everything that like surrounded it. Like, apparently,
Right.
like, Dana was really mad at Mike Jackson, and it's like, we all knew what this was. Like,
He
why
was
are
mad.
we?
I think he was mad because he clearly wanted him to finish the fight.
But it's like, we.
I get it.
I guess after seeing Kimbo, rest in peace, and Dada, and, like, Hoist Gracie nut kick Shamrock and Bellator. Like,
But I think that here's just, again, I didn't see it, so I can't comment. I think the goal was he wanted, like, I guess he felt like he was humiliating CM Punk instead of just finishing him. Like, I guess he found that to be a little disrespectful. I don't know.
I get it, but it's like, we knew what this was, man. Let's not all get up in arms like we didn't know what this was. This was a cash grab. It was a freak show fight. There's a reason it was on the main card over fights like Overeem and Blaze and a host of other people who could have taken that slot. Like, we knew what this was.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna be angry that CM Punk trained for like 3 years and he's still not any good.
Yeah,
But I think that speaks to the fact that this is not an easy thing to pick up. If you're not a great athlete, if you're
like
athletic.
And for real, like the UFC could not have picked a less athletic person than CM Punk. Like,
and I mean,
and I love watching CM Punk wrestle. Like, don't get me wrong, he is a great wrestler, but like, compared to like all the other dudes who you see doing like crazy flips and stuff in the WWE ring,
it was a marriage of convenience.
Exactly.
Which, hey, everybody got what they wanted out of it. He got to live a dream. They got to pick up 2 big pay-per-views.
Mike Jackson got $30,000.
That's amazing. Mickey Gall should have done a run in.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I wasn't mad at either of these two dudes. Like, I get it. Like, some people who hated this on the main card. I think I just understood what this was, and people were like, oh, like, Mike Jackson's never gonna be in the UFC again, blah blah blah. Like, I don't think he really cared. I think he went for an opportunity. He got it. That's it. We're done with this now.
I mean, yeah, it's like there's room for everybody. It takes all kinds. You got your CM Punks, you got your Popek monsters, you got your,
All I'm saying is, Dave Bautista was the last great wrestler, the MMA convert.
Ugh.
Was he though?
Yes.
Didn't he fight like who was that guy?
Vince Lucero. 40 fights.
Oh,
Vince Lucero, and as we said in our first ever Sports Sound Off podcast, Fat Scott Coker. So, as we discussed during one of our first and last ever.
So I'm gonna posit this idea to you live on air, and by on air I mean recorded for the audience at home. When eventually Jack Swagger makes his
Bellator
his MMA debut. Because I'm not even convinced at this point it's going to be Bellator. we should have to go back and document all the careers of the not even WWE, but the pro wrestlers and MMA converts.
You know who I found out was actually one of them recently? I didn't know about this. Apparently one of the authors of Pain has an MMA career. And he fought in Bellator.
Wait. Pain?
Authors of Pain.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about or no?
Vaguely.
They were like an NXT group, and one of their guys, Razor, apparently has an MMA background.
Oh, wait, yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so yeah, that apparently is a thing. So before, just to do a little bit more inside baseball, before this began, we were recording MMA MMA. We were discussing MMA movie video game crossovers. So I want to pitch now CM Punk and Khabib Nurmagomedov in like a Space Jam kind of deal, where Punk gets Khabib special powers, and then he has to go and fight pro, and then eventually he loses them and he has to have a real fight, and we discover that the true fighting spirit is actually your heart, and he wins the title. That's my suggestion.
Jesus Christ.
Look, like I said, and like people get really mad when you're like, hey, look, good for CM Punk, he got to live his dream. Like people got pissed when I said that. So I don't like, dude, MMA is not like, it's not the NFL where only, 53 rosters times 32 or the NBA where it's 30 times 12 plus you add, or 30 times 15 plus you add like your D League guys. Like MMA is for everybody. Everybody who can walk can fight.
Exactly.
Right?
That's
So
the beauty of the sport.
right. So, let him in. Let's see what happens.
This is not
Half you guys complaining. You guys knew what was going on here.
He beat Ollie Thompson. That's amazing.
really.
Yeah, he beat Ollie Thompson. His name is Jizim Salmani.
See, that just means he should be in the UFC.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. I don't know. I don't think you make a weight class. He's a big dude. He's a big boy.
Heavyweight's not real.
Right. There are no rules.
No, apparently they are. If you're Sean Jordan, you can't.
Oh Lord. Well, speaking of heavyweight, the feature prelim, which probably would have been on this main card had CM Punk and Mike Jackson not been here. But
wait, it just occurred to me. Why was Arlovsky Tuivasa on the main card, but Blades over him not?
Because Tuivasa knocks people out and drinks.
He does shoeies?
Yeah, because Tuivasa is MMA. Like, he's just a weird dude who drinks beer out of shoes, and...
questions that need answers.
I don't think that was I actually don't have a problem with that.
No,
maybe they thought Tuivasa was just going to flatline Arlovsky, and maybe they thought Blades and Overeem was going to be like a boring hug fest because nobody would want to pull the trigger.
Which it kind of was in the first round, but then it picked up significantly.
Yeah. Curtis Blades, Alistair Overeem. The first round was definitely like a feeling out kind of process. Yeah, I don't think either guy was trying to die. But yeah, second round things definitely got a bit more heated. Overeem had some moments. I think he landed like a knee. He rocked. He at least staggered Blades for like a second, but yeah, after that, I don't remember much in between that brief moment Reem had and then the finish, but that finish was.
You don't remember Overeem's wacky leg lock attempt that was like.
Oh.
Was that worse than the triangle attempt, Anti-Cool? Because I didn't see that.
At least the triangle attempt came from desperation.
Yeah, Reem was just he was trying, and I ain't gonna hold it against him. He had to do what he had to do, but yeah, once Blades got him down, he kind of started to control the fight a bit more. But I'll just skip to the finish. That's just the part I remember. Every elbow, and that was how he won the fight. For anybody who didn't watch, it was some hellacious ground and pound elbows. But every elbow was like exponentially more violent than the one that came before. Like the first elbow, it's like, oh, that hurts. The second elbow, like a little bit of blood pops up. And then the third elbow, and then there's more blood. And then like the fourth elbow, like his face just explodes. And then like the fifth elbow, there's like blood behind his head somehow. Like it looked like a Mortal Kombat fatality.
It looked like in real time Blades realized that if he just kept elbowing Overeem, there was nothing he could do to stop him.
Yeah, it was one of the most vicious finishes I've ever seen. Like it was really violent, and it happened so fast. I don't think Reem was ready. Yeah, he got elbowed into oblivion. It was one of the most beautiful, violent things I've ever seen. But I really like Reem, but he's been catching some tough breaks. But I'm happy for Blades. You know, like we said, this division's getting better. The prospects who I think we want to win and we're pulling for seem to be, you know, at least most of them are measuring up. They're getting the job done, and good on Blades, man. Really good on Blades to get this. That was a really emphatic finish. I don't think you could draw it up better. Like I said, the first round might not have been too exciting, but he ended it on a great note. Yeah, just elbows, just violent elbows.
Yeah. So Overeem, like, it's really weird that he can't his reputation just coming into the UFC was just uber freaking strong, kickboxer, right? Like he shows up and he manhandles Brock Lesnar, who up to that point was basically taking down everybody he fought, right?
Mm-hmm.
So his last 2 fights, like he's kind of just looked like a child in there. Like Wade's got him down with a quickness, with ease, like, and he looked scared. Like even on the feet, I'm not trying to like say like he was afraid or anything, like, but like for a guy who's
very cautious.
He's for a guy who's been like it's been fewer and farther between where he's actually pulling the trigger. Like it just did not materialize here at all.
Go ahead
though. And then like against Ngannou, he got held against the cage for like 30 seconds. But like it just seems like
there is an elephant in the room, isn't there?
I mean, since I imagine horse meat's harder to get in like Albuquerque.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, I totally agree with you, but I think that's the elephant in the room, I suppose.
Certain supplements are no longer
Okay.
they made a difference. They definitely make a difference.
Yeah.
So I saw somebody post this. I'll pose this question to you guys. I can't remember where I saw this.
Was it Manta? Manta 23?
That's why.
I don't remember. Is it about Reem being a gatekeeper?
Oh no.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
Is Reem is he gatekeeper status?
Yeah. He has been.
Yeah, I'd say so.
He has been.
I didn't want to go that far, but I couldn't argue against it. It's like, he might be.
Like, for me, he has been since like the Stipe loss, because he finally got his title shot, and his reaction was basically to throw the fight away.
I mean, it's true.
And if you're no longer a contender, you're a gatekeeper.
The thing about the division is that he could be a gatekeeper today and title contender tomorrow. Like it because remember, everybody wrote him off when he lost to Travis Brown, and he kind of rebuilt himself. So
Right.
I was thinking that too, but I was like, do I trust him to become a contender again? And I had to take a look. That was a moment of clarity. I was like, I don't. Like, I'm not saying he's never gonna win again, but is he gonna string together enough wins to where he'll be back in that conversation? I was like, I don't know. I don't know if he climbs that ladder back again.
You know what the main difference between like now and after the Brown fight, besides Overeem being like older, the division is getting younger. Like Joey said, like there are all these young dudes coming up who they're just physically, athletically gifted, and by some, like, they have some value to them that just makes anything Overeem has to offer like obsolete.
Yeah, and even if they're not younger, they're just more versatile. Like Alexander Volkov, or Alexander Volkov's a proven heavyweight, and he's younger to the UFC audience, but like he has more to offer than Overeem has or ever had. So this division has gotten better, and he's gotten worse.
And the way Overeem rebuilt himself after losing was basically like, I'm going to cut back on everything I do and focus just on the fact that I'm an amazing athlete with a wealth of experience who can time counters really well. And that's how he beat JDS. To an extent, that's how he beat Mark Hunt. Like, right. You're not going to beat Curtis Blades if you're not throwing at him. Like, yeah. You're not going to beat Francis Ngannou if you're not throwing at him. You're not going to beat Alexander Volkov if you're not throwing at him. Like, these are guys in the prime of their career physically, and Reem just isn't anymore. He's still good enough to beat 95% of the heavyweights out there. Like if they were to run back him and Mark Hunt, I'm sure he could beat Mark Hunt. But like,
And even in that fight, he there was like that round where he has these rounds where he gets caught against the fence and he just covers up. And maybe you can do that against the Mark Hunt, who's just going to wail away at you. And if you're solid defensively, you're not going to have any concerns. But if a guy can take you down, like Curtis Blades did, then you're going to be in trouble. Or if a guy like has Ngannou length arms where he can hit you from space. Like there are too many moments where he either locks up mentally or just locks up in the worst possible position.
Yeah, he has these lapses. He's guaranteed one lapse in every fight. Yeah.
But
I can't think of a dude more self-sabotaging than like Reem. Maybe like Wonder Boy.
This is the Wonder Boy burial session. Sam Alvey?
I mean, Sam Alvey makes the most of what he has. Let's be real. Sam Alvey isn't an Overeem level athlete.
Oh, no,
I'm
I'm
not
not
talking
comparing
about
them
Sam Alvey.
What are you trying to say? Sam Alvey can't be...
I'm not going to talk about Sam Alvey.
Volante is similar, actually.
Yeah.
He played in the NFL talent. I don't know. This is a good fight for Blades. I'm glad that Curtis Blades is continuing to make good on his upside. My only concern is that there are still one too many moments where he gets caught reaching or doesn't get back defensively in time. I think he got caught reaching when Overeem hurt him.
He definitely did.
So, I'd like to see him work on that. Wrestling, though, I mean, he's... And look,
Animal.
Wrestling doesn't have to be boring. He's the guy who makes it really, really fun.
He's the best wrestler in this division. Yeah, I think he's better than Stipe, and Cain Velasquez is no longer here, so there you go.
Yeah. So Blades. And he comes out to the Mortal Kombat theme song. So, why would I not root for him?
Exactly.
So, yeah. Shout outs to Curtis Blades.
Putting the UFC gym on the map.
Right. That was such a
hold on, wait a minute though. Somebody messaged me and said he trains with Stipe. Is that accurate, or did I mishear that?
I'm pretty sure they've worked together.
Okay, because he was that the top heavyweight prospect trains with Stipe Miocic, but I never heard that.
Like Chicago, Cleveland, I'm sure he's been out there to get some wrestling practice in with Stipe when Stipe's in camp. Yeah. But I don't think they're like boys though. But if they are, it's not like
He would still fight him.
Yeah, he's still fighting.
But we're not close enough to where, I'm not.
We might be. I mean, I think Blades is...
Oh, no, I meant like emotionally.
Yeah, he wouldn't turn down that fight. Yeah. They're not that close.
Got what you mean. I thought you meant they wouldn't, we're not close to him fighting him. It's possible. I think that Blades...
No, he's almost there.
If not Volkov, then Blades.
Yeah. This next fight. I mean... Whatever.
Oh, wait, hold on. I wanted to do something. I've been holding this in for about 10 minutes. By the way, Mike Jackson won.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he beat CM Punk.
Just wanted to go back to that real quick.
In case you guys didn't know. Yeah, I don't think we probably never said it.
I mean, did you really need
right.
confirmation?
I'm just trying to, we do it every time I'm on here. We get 3 fights in, and then it's like, it's normally Anti-Cool who goes, oh, by the way, so-and-so won. So we had to go back and cover that. Just want to make sure. Thorough is what matters. I don't even think we said Home beat Anderson. We just implicated it.
I mean, they have to piece the clues together.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's part of the fun.
We're keeping the audience on their toes.
Look, if you can listen to this, you should be able to wiki this shit, so it's not our job.
If you're listening, you probably watched.
I would hope you did. This next fight, very interesting. Especially considering comments that were made this morning.
Yeah, what is that?
A couple hours before we even started recording. So, Claudia Gadelha and Carla Esparza fought to a close split decision. And it was watching this in real time. I don't know if it was because Esparza did better than I thought she would, but I gave the fight to her. Was that the first round where she rocked Gadelha?
Rocked and dropped.
Yeah, she gave Gadelha some work in the first. She is weird because her striking it's not great, but it's she throws like these little flurries and she gets them to work. Like, but wrestling's really good, so I guess like maybe she can get away with it. But like this was a really competitive fight. Did not think Esparza was gonna be like this in it. To be honest, I thought Cordelia was gonna kind of give her the blues and get her out of here, but that did not happen. Esparza kept it really close. They went back and forth. Cordelia ended up getting the split decision, and in real time after the fight was over, I was like, man, Esparza did really, really great. I gotta stop like discrediting her, and she's earned a lot more respect than I think I'm giving her. And then she makes comments a couple hours before we started recording, claiming that Cordelia was greased, and it just kind of made me want to take back all of the good things that I had to say, because it's like, why didn't you say that during the fight if it really happened? And also, I'm not going to act like you didn't give a pretty big headbutt. Like, that was one of the most noticeable headbutts I've ever seen. And you didn't try to hide it. I don't see how a big deal wasn't really made of it, because everybody in the room I was with saw it clear as day. Yeah, that was a big headbutt. It was very noticeable.
Yeah.
I don't want to make fun of her, but your head is kind of it's on the larger side. We saw that.
As a man with a large head, yeah.
we saw that. It was, you can't hide that. It's pretty big dome piece. So, But yeah, I didn't like the grease. I mean, I don't know, maybe if she was greased, it's like you should have said this during the fight. Like, this, why are you complaining about this now that you lost? Like, it kind of makes you look, it makes you look some kind of way. And
Well, that's just Esparza. Like, remember after losing Joanna Jędrzejczyk, she blamed it on like tough fatigue.
Yeah.
no, it's not. It's like your performance was so good. Like, it was such a good fight. And, like, I wanted to give her all the praise in the world, and that just kind of made me just, I ain't gonna say now I'm glad you lost, but now I don't really want to take up for you anymore. So, like, you lost, so what?
But yeah, like, as far as low key has been, like, I think she's one of the most skilled women in the UFC. Like, in terms of just like what she's able to do with her speed, her size. I think she's one of the best transitional talents in like that side of the sport, where she mixes up the boxing and like the wrestling so well. But like personality wise, like if you ask her, she's never lost a fight. and in all honesty, she has a solid argument where the only woman she's lost to in the UFC should be Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Like, that Marcos fight was like razor thin. This fight was like easily could have gone to Esparza. But sometimes the coin lands on the other side.
Yeah. I think I did go back and rescore it. I think I gave 2-3 to Cordelia, but it was a close margin. Like, I don't think Cordelia thought she was gonna catch that much smoke.
Yeah.
Well, that
I don't think any of us did.
God.
Oh, no, you can go.
No, I was saying that actually kind of has me concerned, because Esparza is not a power puncher, and I'm wondering if Claudia might be, she had 2 really tough, violent fights with Joanna. She had to fight Jessica Andrade. I'm wondering.
The downslide.
I'm wondering if maybe that punch resistance is not what it needs to be.
But
I mean,
add in the weight cut.
Yeah, which is insane that she's still trying to do this.
Yeah, it could be that. Plus, but I'll give Esparza credit. Like, I think she's getting better still. Like.
Oh no! I'm not trying to take anything away from Carla. I'm just saying that's not.
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
Gedalia's game is built on durability for the most part. Durability over short periods of time, because she's not a cardio machine. So if she's less durable, then that's it.
Yeah, and Esparza shouldn't be the one putting you on, almost putting you on ice.
Stanky leg,
so to speak. Yeah, that shouldn't be. She shouldn't be the one doing that. But I mean, Gedalia had a good performance too. I just think I was more in awe of like Esparza just did really, really good here.
Yeah, she's gotten much better. I still
got-
think it was an easy win or not an easy win, but an easy to score for Gedalia. So
Yeah, but yeah, the greasing allegations, man, don't cut that out. Don't do that.
well, I mean, you have greasing allegations, and I think you had like steroid allegations between the two, and you have.
I still can't get over the fact that she tried to matchmake Gedalia versus Andrade when they both called her out.
Ooh, as far as that Andrade.
And what's up? And you got I don't know where Gedalia goes from here, because I don't know what 115 has to offer at this point.
Yeah, just go to 25.
I mean, like, she has the fact that she's never fought Rose in her back pocket.
I don't think that's a good fight for her. Like, she has a win over Karolina Kowalkiewicz, but I don't think the brass really cares about that because Kowalkiewicz has a win over Rose.
By the time Gedalia gets up to Rose, it may not be Rose. It may be Andrade.
And she don't want that again.
You don't want that for 5 rounds.
Yeah, just go up to 25, man.
And I would especially not want that after I kind of pissed off Andrade by implying that she was on steroids.
Right. Like,
Because that beating might get a lot more savage.
which is funny because Gedalia has been accused of taking steroids since, like, Invicta signed her. Everybody got to look at her.
So you're saying we should just throw 115 away?
No,
All these steroids?
No.
I'm saying
I'm not.
I'm saying steroids solve problems because they produce engaging fights.
I don't want to have this conversation. I don't want to have this conversation right now.
I'm just saying, if we put some of those 135ers on steroids, maybe bantamweight kicks up a bit.
Which one? Women's bantamweight?
maybe
Women's
45
bantamweight.
picks up.
Well, hell, that might solve the 145 problem.
It's not steroids. It's pregnancies. People need to stop bumping things. They need to stop
Gosh
tripping
darn.
and falling, as my mother would say.
All right. Gosh darn fornicators.
Yeah.
But I mean, props to Gedalia though. She did what she had to do to get the win. She survived the first round and gutted out the last two. So good on her. This next fight, I honestly, it's weird. I was intrigued for this fight, and now that I watched it, I don't remember it all that much.
Good.
Masad Bektic and Ricardo Lamas. I just remember Bektic's mustache and there being a lot of grappling. Other than that, I can't tell you.
Who thought that was a good idea?
Yeah, I don't remember much else of this fight.
I mean, the mustache and the haircut.
That mustache, God, somebody he reminded me of. I can't think of it.
It looked fake.
He looked like a dad who has like an accounting job or something.
He looked like Boris Bektic. Like he was trying to get on the Moscow card.
Like with that mustache, like outside of fighting, he definitely wears like polo shirts and I don't know. And the mustache is weird, but yeah, I don't have much to say about this fight. I don't remember it. Like there was just a lot of grappling, some position changes, but I can't remember much of substance at all. So I don't know if y'all have anything to add.
Bektic really wants to get knocked out again. Like, you lose a fight to Darren Elkins by knockout because you keep shooting for takedowns, and then you get into this fight and you're lighting a guy up in Ricardo Lamas, like best opportunist at 145 probably. Like, it does not take much for him to finish you. And you keep diving headfirst into his guillotine attempts. and you're acting like everything's all well and good. Like, I get it, but I don't get it. Like, I get it. He feels safer on the ground. But that's not actually true.
Anti-Cool warned me that this fight was something to behold because I didn't see it live. And when I sat down, I thought maybe he was just... Because he's a big Bektic fan. I'm a big Bektic fan. So I thought maybe he was just being a little harsh. No. Mirsad Bektic has not gotten better, like, objectively speaking. And maybe it was a big step up in competition. Lamas is not an easy guy to fight. But it's just like he has so many tools. I wish he trusted himself as much as I did.
Exactly. That's what it is.
Right, like you hear people say it about Wonder Boy. Like we want Wonder Boy to be a thing more than he wants to be a thing. And watching Bektic fight, I'm like, this division has two guys who are running through everybody. If you're not one of those guys who've lost to them, it's an opportunity to take a big step up. And he didn't take advantage of that opportunity. So
Such is life.
such is life. Such is life. They compete. It's like you compete in the same division as Zabit. You have to try to be as impressive as him, and wasn't so.
But I guess, at the end of the day, a win is a win. So he got the W. But
He's a top 10 fighter now.
Whatever that means.
It means you get to turn down to beat Magomedov.
You get to turn down and then get cut and then come back.
Exactly.
I'd like to see him fight Bermudez, but Bermudez is on like a 7-fight losing streak now. A 7-fight split decision losing streak.
He should have beat Feely.
Well,
Yeah,
such is life.
such is life.
You should fight Andre Feely. There we go.
Such is life.
Yeah. That's how the cookie crumbles. But next fight, another heavyweight fight that was entertaining. Chris De La Roca and Rashad Coulter.
This was the true heavyweight fight.
Yeah, this was heavyweight in its purest form.
I was trying to think of a smart way to say that, and you.
It was heavyweight, but it was in its purest form.
Just
there
two
were a lot of
guys beating on each other.
Yeah. And I mean, props to Coulter. Like, in that first round, man, he was throwing some bombs, and De La Roca has a chin, man. He was eating some really hard shots. His face was bloodied up, but dude was he was in there. He was firing back. Coulter eventually, I think he kind of punched himself out. De La Roca started landing his own good strikes. They just had like a nice, just heavyweight rock'em sock'em round guy fight. And
They got two mucks in a cage and had them go at it until the HP was down on one of them.
Oh, yeah. Once De La Roca got Coulter down, that was pretty much the end of that.
It was also the funniest part of the fight.
It was.
Chris De La Roca holding onto the cage because he's afraid that Coulter's going to fuck him off. And he's afraid to throw ground and pound. And he's just too tired to do it.
Oh, man. Because you just need one more flurry and you can get him out of there. But he was so tired that,
So I got to admit, I had to take a break during this fight. Because it was like heavyweight sensory overload. Because the first round is amazingly fun. It's absolutely, and like I said, there's nothing like two big dudes just hitting one another. Like, that's MMA's raw appeal. Just big people punching. And then the second round started, and it was like everything heavyweight shouldn't be, but it was like two Snorlaxes slamming into them.
Yeah, it was one of the slowest TKO finishes. I feel like the TKO should have happened like 2 minutes beforehand, but he was just really tired. But he dug really deep in his soul and got out that last little flurry, I guess, that he needed. Either that or the ref was like, I gotta get out of here.
It wasn't even that bad.
I don't think it was bad. I think it was that, like, you just looked at Rashad and it was like, you're not about to get back up. Like, you're clearly not. You're never gonna get out of this position. I want to go home, and I need this my job, so we're just gonna call this off. So we all can win. We all can go home. But yeah, this fight was really fun. It was heavyweight MMA. That's all you can say. It was heavyweight MMA, in its rawest, purest form that you could ever imagine.
Rashad Coulter never gets cut.
Oh, is that two in a row? Did he lose
three?
last fight?
That's three because he lost to Chase
Sherman, Taito Ivasa, and now
it sucked because like he always had like good moments, and then they never it never all the way pans out.
It never means anything.
Yeah, like that sucks.
Which
That sucks.
I just remember
he's
one
the
part.
perfect undercard heavyweight.
He really is. I just remember one part in the fight where he's holding onto the cage and flurrying with one hand, and De La Roca is just getting hit. And I'm just like, this is the only fight I ever need to see. And then the second round began, and I was like, oh man, they should be allowed in these big boy heavyweight fights.
Yeah, they need their own set of rules.
Yeah, 3 rounds.
Matter
The floor is locked.
No, they need to just keep going until somebody loses, gets knocked out.
Dude,
one round
He's
unlimited.
the heavyweight champ.
Oh man.
No,
Yeah, you
what
guys
we
gotta-
need is like we need Royal Rumble rules. If you touch the floor, it's over. You lost. You're eliminated.
Oh man, yeah. Keep Coulter around, man. So what? It's 3 in a row. Who cares?
It's heavyweight MMA. No one cares about wins and losses.
I mean,
Right.
Damian Grabowski got like 4 chances.
Exactly.
The other heavyweight that they're giving, Dmitry Smolyakov, I think is on he's like 0-3, and they're giving him another shot. So.
Yeah, give Coulter another shot. He's at least showing something. He's trying to finish.
Oh my God, Coulter against Cyril Asker.
There we go. There's the money fight.
That headlines that breaks you into France. That headlines any event.
Yep.
That gets MMA bad for us again.
Did you see De La Roca's post-fight interview where he kind of skeeved out Joe Rogan a little bit?
No, what did he say?
He said that his sister wanted him to give Rogan a kiss. And Rogan was like, "Don't do that."
I didn't realize this until I watched it this morning. Did you guys heard Coulter's corner at the end of the first round?
The big old Mexican head.
He's a big old Mexican with a big old head. Stop trying to punch him and knock him out.
Didn't work.
Yeah, it did not work.
Because he went out there and immediately tried to knock him.
All right.
Like, that's not on Coulter, though. Like, you guys are in the gym with him 5-6 days a week. He only throws one punch.
Oh man.
All I know is like the heavyweight division's been on its best behavior recently.
For better and worse.
For better or for worse. And you know what? We still got the true heavyweight fight in a month from now.
Oh man.
Derek Lewis versus Francis Ngannou. Let's go.
Dude, that's the true heavyweight title fight.
It
I'm not
is.
kidding. Like, you guys need to have me on for that. I'll just talk about that fight and then leave.
That's the people's fight.
I don't care if DC comes in at 270 pounds. He's not a true heavyweight. He doesn't gas hard enough.
All right, so I'm a breeze through this next fight because I just don't want to talk about it because it shouldn't have been a thing. Anthony Smith, Rashad Evans. Rashad Evans got kneed in the face and he got KO'd. And that was how that fight went. I will not be adding any other commentary to this fight.
Instead of discussing, go ahead.
It was like after this was over, I was like, I didn't. Did we need to see that? Like that we didn't need to see that. That should have been like the first fight on the card, so I could have like missed it by chance. And yeah, I don't know. Like I just don't want to see Rashad fight anymore. It's getting, like the Dan Kelly fight was fun, Now it's just like that this isn't fun anymore. This is looking real. It just looks bad. And Anthony Smith did what he needed to do, but I don't need to see Rashad get knocked out anymore. I didn't realize. I probably should have known, but he hasn't won since like 2014. I don't know. It's been a long time.
Chael in November of 2013. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The weird thing is, like, he was actually on a bit of a tear and then tore his knee, so he hasn't been the same since then.
Nope. So
rather than discuss the fight, can I shoot a potential thought a thought piece for you two fine gentlemen?
true.
You can only induct one into the UFC Hall of Fame. Vanderlei Silva, Rashad Evans, Michael Bisping, Misha Tate. Who goes in first? Or who's the one you choose?
I can't answer this because I'm biased.
Just on their UFC credentials, if that makes it easier.
I'm still biased.
I see. Well, there we go.
Because I'm picking Bisbee.
Oh, no, I would have picked Bisping too. So. Actually, no, I would have picked Rashad.
All right, hold on. Let me try to be fair about this. Let me think about this for a second. So you said Rashad, Bisping,
Vanderlei,
Misha Tate. I'm trying to think of who would I immediately eliminate.
Vanderlei.
Yeah, I think Vanderlei gets eliminated. So then it's Misha, Rashad, and Bisping. How long did Rashad have his belt for?
One fight.
Yeah. Won it in December, lost it in April, May.
May.
You know what? I could probably say Bisping and not feel bad about it, actually. Because... Because Misha... I feel like if Misha maybe would have... I feel like she could have had that belt earlier in her career, but...
I mean, she did.
I don't know.
She was the Strikeforce champion.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
For like an hour.
Right.
She beat what's her name, right?
Marlos Kunin.
Kunin, yeah.
You know what? I could be fair, and I got a certain friend. Shout out to my friend Davon. He's gonna kill me for this if he hears this. I think I could say Bisping and actually be fair about it. If I consider overall career, his rise to the belt, he defended it once. You can feel how you feel about the defense, whatever. I'm trying to think of this in terms of like competition. Yeah, I think I'll go Bisping.
I would go Rashad, even though Rashad doesn't have the significant international legacy that Bisping has, or the cultural impact that Misha Tate has, just because I think Rashad's quality of competition is better. And
That's what I was trying to think. I was trying to remember. Rashad did fight like all of the legends. Though.
Forrest Griffin, Tito, I think he fought, right?
Yep.
Forrest, Tito, Chuck, Rampage,
Chuck.
Joe.
Yeah, if somebody said Rashad, I wouldn't be mad at that choice. I could definitely.
Would you seriously just sneak Phil Davis into that category? By the way.
Yes.
Thought I heard that. Chael Sonnen's in there. He's beaten. I think Shogun's the only one, right? Like they never fought.
Yeah, it was the fight to make, but Shogun's too highly ranked now.
Oh, shame.
Which is weird.
Right.
If you had told me in 2013 that Shogun would be the one still fighting 5 years later, well, still competing at the top of the light heavyweight division 5 years later, I would have called you crazy.
Cool. Who would you go with? Because we got one for Bisping and one for Rashad.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like Silva was such a high-profile win, and Rockhold was such a moment. But I'd probably go with Rashad.
There you go.
That's fine. I'm used to being outgunned.
Oh, come on now. Bisping would be a
Rashad's a good choice, though. I can definitely see Rashad.
I mean, if it was just on sentimentality, it would be Bisping over just on that Rockhold win.
Yeah. No, I can get Rashad, though. Rashad... And I mean, and when Rashad was at the top of that division, that was around when, like, 205 was, like, the thing. Like, back when that division, before it became kind of what it is now, you know. So, yeah, I'm not mad at that pick. I can agree with that. But, yeah, I hope Rashad hangs it up, man. Like, you've had a great career. These last... I can't even just say couple fights. A lot of them just have not gone well.
Last 5.
I don't think you have. Yeah, I don't think you have much else to prove, man. Like you've given us a lot of good moments, a lot of good fights. Like, just hang it up, man. Just hang it up. Or if you're gonna come back for one more, fight another old guy, and you know. But
I feel so bad for him. I want to say it was going into that Chael fight. Like I watched a thing where he's like, yeah, I left my family, I moved out of like where I was living, like just to give it one more run at the title, and then like he immediately tears his ACL, and then like after the jail fight.
Yeah, he would have had that DC fight.
Yep.
But props to Anthony Smith. He got the knee KO, so that's how that went.
I mean, he's at light heavyweight now. He can be ranked within like his next fight.
Right.
And you know what? Anthony Smith is a hell of an action fighter, so I hope he has a great run.
It's a shame Krylov isn't in the UFC anymore, because him versus Krylov would have been amazing.
Now they're just gonna give him Dominic Reyes.
Reyes all the way to the top. I hope.
They could do, if Tyson Pedro loses to OSP, I could see Pedro versus Smith. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Throw 205 away too. Dump that.
That's like 5 divisions.
I'm cleaning up. Cleaning up.
This next fight, Sergio Pettis, Joseph Benavidez. I don't know if I'm in the minority here. And I thought I was bugging in real time, so I had to reconfirm this when I watched it again. I thought Benavidez won this. Is it just me? Am I by myself?
This is penance for taking the Cejudo win.
I guess.
No, it's a punishment for that haircut, for that dye.
Yeah. I will agree. When I saw the Eminem dude going on, I was like, this. I don't know who told you this was a good idea, but the judges won't like it.
Yeah, because Benavidez is Mr. You can't beat him in a non-title fight, but they're like, who the fuck is this guy walking around?
And don't get me wrong, like Pettis did a lot of good things in this fight. Like he was countering was pretty on point. I mean, he dropped Benavidez in the first, but I thought Benavidez just kind of won more based on like just outputting control. But I guess judges just kind of saw it different. Like, and I've said this, and I was discussing this with everybody who was watching the fights with me. Like, I'm pretty sure we said this about him before. Pettis is like really talented, but it's just always during his fights I just feel like there's no like next gear, there's no like urgency. It's just kind of like I'm gonna fight at this one pace, and if it's working, it's just gonna work.
Dude, he fights like a dude who spent his entire childhood getting beat up by his older brother.
First off, we don't know what kind of brother Anthony was, so stop it.
I'm in the gym, not.
You're making him sound like he's the Weidman brother, the crazy Weidman brother.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was just like Matt Hughes' brother.
It was just weird. Like I just
Jesus Christ, Matt Hughes. Oh,
but
man.
I can't take away from Pettis though. He like I said, his countering was on point. He did a good job of like really picking his shots. I just thought Benavidez pushed the fight more. I want to say he landed more. I want to say the stats support me, though I don't have them in front of me. I just felt like he was a lot busier. So I wasn't shocked that Pettis won, but I thought Benavidez was ahead. But you know, it is what it is. I'm not mad at it. You know. Pettis has still been improving. I think he's gotten a lot better since the first couple of times we've seen him in the octagon. So I'm not going to take this win away from him. And if anything else, he'll end up being a new face to potentially fight for a belt. Not that I think he has anything to offer for Mighty Mouse other than just being a new body on the record. But, you know, he can at least make it to the fight. But yeah, that's just kind of my feelings on that fight.
Joey, you can go ahead.
What do you mean, Joey? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Hold on. Wait, we didn't agree upon this. I had Pettis winning. I don't know what to say. Like, you know who Sergio Pettis reminds me of? Kenny Florian. In the sense that there's just like this, there's a consistency there, but there's never, like you said, another gear. And he fights like a dude who's afraid to he fights like a guy who's been knocked out before. Like in the gym, he got hurt really badly, and ever since then, he's like pensive. He's I had it for Pettis. I thought it was a really good fight though.
No, it was.
No, because I had heard some people kind of burying it as, but it's like, I thought it was a good competitive fight. Benavidez, I think, is done. I'm done relative to being a top contender in the division. Even if he would have got that decision, I would have felt that way because it feels like you had the Cejudo fight where I thought he lost, and then you had injury after injury after injury after injury. So I think just physically he's kind of cooked. Sergio Pettis, he's the better Pettis brother now. I don't think that's a hot take.
He has more UFC ones than Anthony does.
But I'm like in general. Like
No. I get you, but it's just crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, you would never would have thought that in 2013. But I think that he won that fight. I don't think he has anything for Mighty Mouse either, but at the same time, if Juicy Formiga is in the title picture, because apparently Formiga got some serious traction before they went with Cejudo 2, they tried Formiga, or they at least discussed Formiga. If that's the case, then Pettis may be 2 wins away, or 1 win away.
Yeah.
The one fight that jumped out to me was I'd love to see him fight a guy like Alejandro Pantoja, because I think Pantoja would force him to be different or lose. And, as a fan of both guys, I think it'd be a good fight.
Yeah, I think that's a logical next step. Like, I saw people throwing out Formiga, and I'm like, if he has to fight one more time for a shot at DJ, I'd prefer it be against somebody else who's right at that door. Right, because Formiga was on a terrific run, but we've also seen him lose to top flyweight after top flyweight after top flyweight. But like, just back to what I was saying, like about Sergio though, like he fights like a dude who had to preserve himself a lot in the gym, like, because I see the dynamic between like him and his older brother, where like his older brother is like a legit like A+ level athlete, at least in terms of like MMA competition, and him just having the wearing to like, I don't want to say do the bare minimum, but like he almost gave this fight away. Just
you're trying to say he's like sparring partneritis is what you're trying to say, right?
Yeah. Okay. The dudes over at the Heavy Hand podcast came up with this term called young veterans for guys who basically they came up in hard gyms and they came up just fighting like 20 times a year. So you're like Des Greens, your Jorge Masvidal's, your Gegard Mousasi's, these dudes who seem to like they always seem like they're not operating at like a full clip. But it's because they preserve themselves. That's kind of the vibe I get from Sergio. Like, there have been times where he's shaken, he's gotten a little bit more aggressive, but like here, he should have ran away with this fight. Like all the props in the world to Benavidez, who battled back from getting rocked like twice in the first round. But like, I don't think Benavidez should be able to fight his way back into the fight as easily as he did. And he did a great job of stuffing takedowns. Like, I think Benavidez was like 2 for 14 or 2 for 18 or something crazy like that. But he has the same problem Anthony did, where he'll just back into the cage and like he uses as his third leg to stand up, but he can't get any offense off. So, like, that's a problem. And he's not making anybody pay for closing distance. So he'll get the break, but like, what's to stop Benavidez from just doing it again?
Right.
Real quick before we move to the next fight, got some breaking news.
Oh.
Deontay Wilder accepts terms to fight Anthony Joshua in the UK.
Ooh.
And this is on ESPN.
Ooh.
So
that's good.
Looks like this will be trying to see if they have any date set or anything.
DAZN.
I don't know if they have a date, but like I guess they've just like the paperwork is done.
We have our big first DAZN fight.
Yeah, tune into ESPN Plus for your first. No, neither of those guys are ESPN Plus affiliates, so it's gonna be
DAZN. It's Eddie Hearn.
Did you hear the reported asking price for DAZN?
How much?
$29.99 a month.
That's stupid. That's stupid.
That was the rumored asking price.
Dude, you can get HBO and Showtime for like that, I think, a month.
Thou shalt be streamed.
Goodness gracious.
On to the next fight.
Good.
Charles Oliveira. I mean, so hold up. So if it's on the zone, like, is that?
It might be on
Well,
Showtime because I think
Yeah, I was gonna say I would assume that would be on like a Showtime or, you know.
I wouldn't put that fight on Showtime. That's probably one of the rare fights you could probably move to the big pay-per-view if you want to. Well, no, technically I'm not sure because Joshua fights don't necessarily do big numbers in the States. Like, he hasn't been a big rating guy.
I would say his like last fight did $1 million.
Are you sure? I'll look it up.
I think this will do numbers because of Wilder.
I'll look it up. I know that his
I think-
the Klitschko fight did very, very well.
Like I don't think Wilder does good numbers. Like
He does.
yeah,
Well, he's
like,
I feel like a lot of people really like Wilder.
like
Wilder on. Go ahead.
no, like Wilder was doing like poor numbers on Fox last time I checked. Like he might do good Showtime numbers, but
Yeah, he does good on Showtime, but he didn't do well. Those Fox shows were like 1.9, 1.7.
yeah.
Let's see. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there.
There you go. That's good.
Yeah,
It's an awesome fight.
I mean
that's a fun.
that's something that they if they were to try on pay-per-view, they'd have to do it here, and I don't think Joshua wants that.
Joshua Parker
No.
first replay peaked at 483,000 viewers.
Okay.
Alrighty then.
Some real Dana White numbers for Manic.
Right.
3 million
Ah.
viewers.
Alright. Well, these next two fights combined lasted a total of 3 minutes and 8 seconds, if my math is right.
Clay Guida, stop shooting in on BJJ, guys.
So Clay Guida versus Charles Oliveira. All I remember in this fight, like, Oliveira landed a nice combination, which caused Guida to dive in for a takedown. And as you said, against New Bronx, it's probably not a good idea. Got choked out for his troubles, and that was it.
Yep. Dubronx ties the record for most submissions in the UFC with like Hoist.
And he's probably gonna break that record by a lot.
Probably.
I just can't believe he shot in on him.
Really?
Okay, correction. I can believe it. I don't want to believe it. Because that's what happened against Thiago Tavares. He got hurt and then shot in on him. And that's what happened with Brian Ortega. He got hurt and then tried to shoot in on him, and Ortega kneed him in the head. Like, stop doing that. I know he thinks he can get anybody down, and he probably can, but that's
Not without consequences.
that's what Dubronx wants from you.
Yeah. How do we like the Bronx at lightweight? Because he's still talking about he wants to try to make featherweight.
No.
Agreed.
Stop it.
Agreed.
A Justin
Stay at
Loving
lightweight.
Athletic Commission should not allow that man to fight at 145 pounds.
Yeah. Agreed. Stay at lightweight.
If you let him fight at lightweight, then you know. I mean, if you let him fight at featherweight, then you don't care about him.
This last fight lasted all of 50 seconds. Then Ige, Mike Santiago. Actually, I think I only saw the replay of this fight. This was actually the one fight I did not see in real time at all, and I didn't go back to rewatch it. I think I just saw the replay. But from my understanding, I think Dan just mollywopped him.
Yep.
like pretty much like as soon as the fight started, there wasn't a lot of time wasted. Like he just went out there and mollywopped him, and like I don't think Santiago got a chance to really do anything. Like he got beat up, he got mollywopped, and that was it.
Yeah. I never saw Ige's fight on the Contender Series, or that's where he's from, right? Or was it looking for a fight?
Yeah, no, Contender Series. Jorge Luis Gomez.
I don't think I watched that fight. So like when I saw him fight Arce, and you know he was in there struggling to throw get the takedown, then he punches. I didn't really have like an opinion of him because I knew Arce was really good. So
Go ahead. Just say what you called him. You know what you called him.
What'd I call him?
A scrapper.
Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he was a scrapper. I guess
Not everybody on the Contender Series is a scrapper, sir.
Yeah. Well, all right, whatever. But like I don't know. Like I didn't know what his game was. Like they said he was like a BJJ dude, but like like destroying Santiago in the way he did was really impressive. Especially like 50 seconds. Look at the two dudes Santiago fight. Zabit and
Oh God, Mads Burnell.
Mads Burnell. Yeah, and those are guys who have, since Zabit had all this hype coming in, but it was really impressive. Burnell has since looked impressive against Arnold Allen, besides like that flub at the end. So like to see Ige go in there and just wreck him in 50 seconds was really impressive. So he's back on my list.
If you've still got Fight Pass, go back and watch. Go and watch Gomez against Ige. It's a really great fight. Like for the talent level involved, it's a great fight. It's a brawl with a lot of grappling, good grappling in it.
I'm gonna add it to my queue.
Does Fight Pass even have a queue?
I think so.
I use it on my Xbox side. I don't know any it's like
It's such a clunky website.
It really is. It's a very ugly.
Yes.
Yeah, it does have a queue, but I feel like it deletes my videos.
Oh man.
Dana White. he just goes in people's profiles. Oh, look at this goof. He just deletes your stuff. Oh man, but
3 years separates the two. They are both standing.
I was about to say we'll do a live breakdown.
Telling you, we need to get you to do live fight commentary or pre-recorded fight commentary. This would be a big step forward.
We'll do live one day. That's I think that's the next good step. That'll be a good step.
I'm telling you, we can break down Stokes fights from the backyard.
I gotta send us those again.
Jesus Christ, he's not even here.
No, but he sent them to us. It was like
Yeah, he sent them to us.
he beat John Fitch.
He did.
Could Stokes beat the Gravedigger, or whatever his name was?
Ooh, that's a good question.
The Undertaker.
If
Stokes
we should
beat-
sponsor Stokes so he can go up to Canada and do this.
Wonder how much the Stokes weigh. You think he takes CM Punk?
Oh, don't disrespect Stokes like that. Of course he could.
Oh man.
Oh man, that's the next fight. That's the next big one.
We would need CM Punk cutting promos on Strawberries.
Stokes knocks somebody off of a main card slot.
Fucking hate strawberry. Mangoes are the real food.
Oh, that would be awesome. But that was UFC 225. It was a pretty awesome card. Lots of good finishes. Classic main event. Yeah, there were a lot of good happenings on this card. So definitely give that a watch.
Yeah, for the first pay-per-view in a long time, it felt like a complete show.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was really tired by the time it was over, but it was worth it. I know we had a few questions. I have one from Twitter. I'll let you guys read the one from Tumblr because my computer kind of froze on me.
Right.
But I have one question from Twitter. This is from Elisa Edge 1. Can't remember if we touched on this earlier, but her question is: do you think Whittaker and Yoel should have a rubber match, even though it's 2-0 Whittaker?
Yes. But only after Romero goes up to 205 and takes the title.
Yes, but I admit that it's probably a bad business idea.
Yeah, like I was gonna say no at first, and then I was like, who's left at middle?
I mean,
to
even if you don't think Romero is gonna make weight, which do you weigh heavier? Do you think Romero will not make weight, or you think Weidman will not make it to the fight?
Yeah. So
I mean, even beyond that, like, does anybody really want to see Chris Weidman versus Robert Whittaker?
I'd be interested for a few rounds, but then I think once we get to 4 or 5, it's not gonna be pretty for Weidman.
yeah. Why not? You know what? At this point, what are rules anymore? What are standards and procedures and protocols?
I'm just glad that you said what are rules anymore after thou shalt be streamed.
if they do a rubber match, I might complain about it because like, oh, maybe they should, you know. I'm all about fairness and order, but I also like chaos. I like when things, you know, sometimes go out of order. So if they decide the rubber match is as long as this is good as this one is, hey, I'm not mad at it at all. So have at it. I don't care. Book it again for the next pay-per-view. You know, as soon as Romero is healed up and Whittaker's hand is back in order, book it again. I don't care because you know I'd rather see Weidman go up to 205 anyway. So let's just have them just keep fighting just over and over. And
This is
like best out of
this
10.
is all.
Like, well, we'll do a playoff series. Make it a best out of 7.
This is all Anti-Cool's plot to get David Branch into a title position. He's going to have Romero and Whittaker fight 10 times until they beat the shit out of each other, and then in swoops David Branch to 48-47 the belt.
Exactly.
I mean,
See, it's all
he is the
plot.
GOAT. He is the true GOAT. Everybody should be worried.
Oh my! Like I said, like David Branch is one ankle twist away from a title shot.
I mean, we saw what he did to Thiago. He's coming next for whoever, you know. You're not safe.
He's gonna knock out Robert Whittaker. He's gonna do what Yo Romero couldn't.
I think I'd cash out at that point and take up a new sport. Like, I'm hearing a lot of good things about this BattleBot stuff. Maybe I'll give that a shot.
I think we talked about BattleBots and how I refuse to have anything to do with it. Because when the AI come and they realize what you did to their ancestors,
I forgot who it was. During Covington and RDA, I think we were talking about different new fucked up sports to take up, and like Timber Sports came up, and BattleBots came up, and like I can't support anything that takes jobs away from people, so I can't support BattleBots. Now you want to dress some people up in some tinfoil and give them like sparklers? I'm down, but
until night fights becomes mainstream, I'm stuck with MMA.
It's a little too real for me.
Oh no, it's great. That is the next big thing. That is the untapped market that people don't know they need it, but they need it.
I can't wait till we get like our real athletes in it, and not our history teachers. Like
Yo Romero.
Could you imagine a John Jones night?
Like, dude, John Jones might get coked up John Jones in armor. I don't want that shit.
I can't believe neither one of the Shamrocks have taken that up yet. Because like they're out here doing bare knuckle boxing, and not even like in a ring, like in like they're doing it in like the hay barrel ring.
Oh man, what was Monta's question from Tom?
He's got 3.
He had like a 3-piece.
Yeah. So first up, what's next for Blades after finishing Reem? Does he get a title shot next, or maybe number 1 contender fight with the winner of Ngannou Lewis? Because God knows Mr. Glass King Velasquez probably won't fight for another 20 years.
Sad.
I'm gonna say number 1 contender fight. I don't really care who against who. I mean, I guess literally the only viable options would be, like I said, either the winner of Lewis and Ngannou or Volkov.
I mean, Miocic versus Cormier is literally like a month away.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think he deserves it more than Volkov.
Yeah,
I would agree with that actually, but I also think that like I don't think Volkov would fight unless he got a title shot. So you'd probably have a contender on ice for.
You know what? I changed my answer. Give him a title shot because I get it. Like heavyweight's getting better, but it's still not. It's not like we got contenders out the wazoo yet.
Right.
So.
And the thing with Ngannou is like, no matter who is next, like Ngannou's not getting a title shot if Stipe wins again.
You don't think so?
Like, I think it'd be rather short-sighted for them to do it. Like, if he beats Lewis, like, if Stipe beats DC, like, give him a fresh face.
Yeah. And that's
I don't know.
Kind of why I wanted to change my answer. Give Stipe a fresh face to fight. If he beats Blades, you got Volkov in the wing, and I guess if Ngannou wins, you get his rematch, or you match Ngannou up with Blades again, they can run that back, or I'm just trying to whatever scenario keeps the most fresh faces available, to where we're not seeing repeats over and over. Even though I guess that might inevitably happen, but I'm just trying to delay it.
Like the way that I'm looking at it, I want to keep Volkov, Blades, and the Ngannou Lewis winner all on 3 separate paths, so I always have an option.
Right.
Like, I would probably, if Ngannou beats Lewis in the first round and it's a big pay-per-view number, I would rematch them. I would rematch Miocic and Ngannou, just because that fight will probably never be hotter than if it's a big show. If not, Blades. Like, I think Blades could fight for the title. I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. I wouldn't have a problem with him fighting JDS, on a big... They would probably wouldn't be a Fox card, but maybe the first ESPN show.
Yeah.
Kind of spotlight him a little bit.
Is JD suspended?
Not anymore.
Okay.
And since I believe I read that the Fox cards are the ESPN shows are going to be viewed like Fox cards, like just kind of bigger events for the UFC. I think it's a fine main event for one of those things. But what was the other one?
Yeah, what was the second part of this question?
He's got 3. I know he's
yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah. In boxing, how excited are y'all for Bud versus Spence in like 2 years?
I'm ready for this now, like next weekend.
I might not be alive in 2 years, so don't talk to me about stuff that could happen in 2021.
Yeah, we need this now. I think we've all been waiting for like the stars to align and all that good stuff, and I think we've hit that point now. We can just we don't need 2 years. Let's do this. I mean, if Joshua and Wilder can fight, why can't Spence and Crawford fight? There's no correlation there, but I don't care.
I mean, Spence just sold out a 15,000 seat arena in like Texas. Fighting, God knows who. What's his name? No. He's one coming up in a month. And
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's going to sell out the venue.
Right.
Yeah. So, and if he wins that fight, like I don't see why they don't make him and Crawford.
I mean, the reason I don't make is because Arum and
Heyman are not
friends. Yeah.
Although, I at the same time, like, I don't know who's the draw in that fight.
That's a good question.
Because I don't think Spence has done good numbers. Right?
I don't know. Like, I want to say like his last fight did surprisingly well for who he was fighting.
Lamont Peterson? The Peterson fight? I don't know. I know the Brook fight was disappointing. I know that he did a massive thing with Bundu, but that was like following some sort of
the Olympics.
There we go. Yeah, because we had Summer Olympics in 2016.
Like they really ain't doing this dude any favors by just not having him fight 3 times a year.
Yeah. And I think Spence has the ability to be. He's the closest thing, in my honest opinion, to a Floyd Mayweather type draw.
Probably.
They all pale in comparison to Broner as the.
Never mind. It did like 6.5.
6.5 what?
Viewers on Showtime.
6.5 million?
1,000.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You did 6.5 million.
I was like, oh.
650. My bad.
Yeah, I mean that's still a pretty.
Kids out here.
Like, remember with Showtime, like before PBC was like doing like 2 million, a million and a half.
They had everybody thinking that they were gonna overtake HBO.
And then they split everything up, and then eventually it just swelled back down, and now they're struggling to put ratings on the board again.
Yep. Unless it's Wilder, he does good numbers on Showtime.
Wilder and Broner.
And he had one more part of the question, right?
Yes. What's your fight of the year so far, and why is it Whittaker Romero 2?
Because Yoel Romero was involved.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, like I tried to think about this, and the only other fight I could think that came close was Gaethje Poirier.
Yep, that's basically it.
Those were the only two.
Yeah, Gaethje Poirier, and I guess
there weren't any other fights that I thought, and I mean I would have to research this obviously. I mean it's been a lot of fights not even just UFC. Like
I feel like Zabit against
Bochniak?
Botniak, but it wasn't really a fight of the. It was more like a one guy fight of the year performance.
yeah,
I mean, Botniak was in there, but it was like a completely different.
yeah. Like we knew who was winning that. Like it was, you know. But
I'm looking at other
And
people's
yeah,
list right now. The only one that
can't
jumps
think of
out is like Qatar Burgos.
That was a really good fight, but I don't.
That
Not
was a really
even.
good
I don't. I wouldn't put it.
yeah, I wouldn't put that fight in
And
here. It's
You can't say Poirier Gaethje because the stakes were relatively low. Like it's not like there was a title fight on the line or anything.
even if you strip all that away from it though.
How about Conor McGregor versus Sanders? I feel like he's losing that one.
the Dolly was the fight of the year.
The Dolly versus the truck.
Yeah, it's Romero Whittaker.
It just
they
Romero
did this.
Whittaker was everything that MMA is supposed to be.
And it was literally like we complain a lot about like some of the matchmaking with title fights. How it seems like some people get gifted title shots, so on and so forth. These were the two best middleweights on the planet.
For sure.
Yep.
And yeah, without question. And you know, weight cuts aside, all that craziness, these were the two best middleweights, and they gave us just madness, just beautiful madness.
It's a little upsetting that I could probably think of more worst fight of the year candidates this year than I could fight of the year candidates.
Well,
Because it's like,
closing in on.
no, just because I'm thinking about it, it's like you could probably make a longer list of really awful fights than, you know.
There have been some good fights, but not a ton has really super stood out. Not like this one.
Like this year feels so weird because like it feels like nothing's happened, and it's not true.
Right.
Yeah.
It feels like, you know what, it's weird? It's like we always talk about ourselves as being super educated about the sport. But it is kind of weird that there can be these great fights and great fighters, and we just don't even acknowledge their existence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was trying to think of fights in like one or like.
Because MMA is really
Uh-huh.
momentum based. Like you can have a great show, but unless that great show carries over to the next show, it doesn't really feel like a great show. Like everything kind of has to wave together one another.
Right.
So
Like
it just.
and when there's such a bad topper, it makes everything feel bad. Like
Yeah.
that Brazil card. Was it Brazil or am I thinking of Chile? Wait, what's the one where Zaleski just fucking spinning
Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil. Like
Jacare Gastelum? I mean, I guess that would belong in the conversation of fights of the year.
right. But like just having Nunes and Pennington have a blah fight just like killed what was otherwise a really entertaining card. Like
Liverpool. Liverpool's the same thing. I mean, that Liverpool fight night was relatively really good, and then you had the main event that kind of left everybody feeling apathetic.
the hell, Chile involved a guy getting slammed on his head while trying to do an armbar, like, and we don't remember that. We just remember Usman and Maya having a
Ground and pound to the foot.
exactly.
We coming up on like 3 hours and almost 45 minutes. So I guess we'll go to parting shots and shout outs. I was trying to think of one, and I can't. I want to shout somebody out, but I don't know if I have anybody to. Well, no, you know what? I'll throw a shot at IHOP for changing their name to like International House of Burgers. I don't know what that's about.
It's marketing.
But,
They-
you guys get out of here. Get.
They lose money because people only come in the morning, so they're adding burgers to the menu so people come in the afternoon as well.
Why don't people come in the afternoon? Do you guys not know that breakfast food tastes like so much better later in the day?
What a rebel.
You've never had like French toast at like 9 o'clock at night? It's amazing. What are you guys doing?
I really need to go to IHOP at night.
IHOP.
It's good. It's the crowd is a lot more tame.
Did you guys just hear my sister scream?
Yes.
Yes.
One of them, yes.
The crowd is a lot more tame than Denny's at night. I can say that. Denny's crowd at night. It's a little.
But Denny's
a little
full of
sketchy.
old dudes, no?
This is their club.
The Denny's where I live, it's a little. Some characters who come out around midnight. Get some interesting people.
Is it like Applebee's on like a sports night?
I don't know. I don't go to Applebee's. Applebee's is like the most overrated restaurant ever.
What a conversation.
But yeah, that's my shot. Shot at Applebee's. Shot at Applebee's just because you guys are in the line of fire too. But shot at IHOP. Don't stop changing your name.
You just randomly picked on
you guys getting
for no damn reason.
I know.
Just randomly shouted them out for no reason.
I felt like I had a shot. I can't think one. Yeah, I don't have any. I'm just throwing shots today. I'm bitter. Oh no! I do have a shout out. Shout outs to the show Into the Badlands. That show is amazing, and their mid-season finale is next week. And if you guys watch the show, you better watch that episode because it's gonna be awesome. That show is amazing. So that's my shout out.
Yeah, not so much a shout out, but rest in peace, Anthony Bourdain. Dude, Parts Unknown, like, best travel show ever. I don't know, like, I check up on your friends, man. That's all I gotta say. Check up on your friends. Also, it's it's nice out now. It's warm. So shouts out to the National Park Service, the BLM, the U.S. Forest Service, your locals. Go outside, visit our national parks. Be sure to drink more water. In my opinion, they're the best thing about this country. Like, it's gorgeous. Go outside, get some sunlight. So that's all I got.
How am I gonna write up all these UFC cards if I gotta go outside?
I mean, you can write them out. You can write them up on your phone, like I do.
That is true.
All I heard right there is I really want you to get Lyme disease, Joey. So go outside and mingle with some ticks.
Get some permafrost. Put it on your clothes, soak your clothes and go outside.
Yeah, just smell like something that if somebody lights a cigarette, you could catch fire.
Whoa. Permafrost don't smell like that.
Oh my god. Bug spray smells. What do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah, no, yes, please, thank you. Please. All right, so that's it, huh? That's all you got?
That's all I got.
Okay. I have nothing, so I'm not shouting out anybody. Shots at 145, 135, 170, 205. You're all thrown away.
I can't believe the UFC cut John Jones like that.
Well, no, he's a heavyweight. We moved him up. John Jones cuts himself. The guy fights once every 3.5 decades. We're good. We can survive him. Anyways, on a more serious note, do check up on you. Make sure the people in your life know that you love them before you have to wonder if they knew if you love them. You know what I mean? So make sure you always keep those closest to you aware of how you feel about them, because they may not think you feel that way. You know, and we live in a really weird world where we're always angry about something, and try to be the best part of somebody's day, no matter who they are. And always try to make sure, as I said elsewhere, always make sure that every conversation you have with someone leaves the impact because it may be the last conversation you ever have with them. So keep that in your mind and try to always be a positive part. Don't allow negativity to corrupt how you treat and talk to other people, including those whether you love them or hate them. That's really all I want. That's all I want to leave here saying. Like, I want everybody to try and be nicer to one another, because you never know how the simple, most innocuous thing can be something that you regret. So always try to be as nice to people as you can, and always try to let your friends know how you truly feel about them. And don't fight bees, because that's for
real, man. They're endangered species.
You know
Yeah, I
what's
didn't
funny
kill
though?
him.
He was talking
I
about insects, and my first thought went to the Florida like the crane toads that are like killing everything.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
we
I mean, I didn't add to the extinction. I didn't kill the bee. I just gave him a firm paddle.
I believe they call that swatting.
You probably gave the poor thing a heart attack.
Now the bee's got anxiety.
I do too. We're both even.
So does that mean that you gotta like? So do you gotta like leave the room if the bee movie comes on? Does that make you like really uncomfortable?
They just need to stay in the screen.
Maybe.
I can't watch that in 3D. Like if it jumps out, you know.
Somebody's getting a fist.
Yeah, I might involuntarily just start swinging at things.
Jesus.
And if you're in the line of fire, it might not be safe.
Oh, one last deal. Ali Abdelaziz, stop it. Stop causing problems at shows and stop trying to fight people's wives or whatever. Whatever he did to Jimmy Rivera's wife.
It's a crazy sport that we.
We didn't even mention
gather
the fact
weekly.
that Kamaru Usman got in a fight in this.
That's what I'm saying. Like apparently he got in there to defend whatever Ali started or whatever the case.
Oh boy.
And there's
This is how you win fans in MMA, though. So you gotta fight the crowd at least once.
Just don't get sued out there. Just hope it didn't bloody anybody's nose or something. I don't want to see you get sued. We kind of need you in this division, so.
Do we really?
Yeah, I think we could use them. We need them.
Do we really need another guy, another 5-round, and I actually like Kamaru Usman. I like Usman a lot. I've been on the Usman bandwagon even when it was rocky.
Yeah, we got to keep guys like that around. But yeah, man, you guys do be nice to each other, man. Don't be like me fighting bees out here. I'm not a good example.
Always treat people like this is the last time you'll ever talk to them. That's the easiest thing in life.
On that note, we'll try to leave out on a nice, happy note, something you guys can take with you. I don't even think I did my plugs in the beginning, so I'm going to do them awkwardly at the end. You guys can listen to this show on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes. If you're on iTunes, please rate and subscribe. You can listen to us on Google Play. Send questions to Dojotalkpodcast at yahoo.com. You can hit me up on Twitter at Serial Sensei, and you can find us on Facebook at the Dojo Talk Facebook page. With that being said, it's been another episode of the Dojo Talk Podcast. As always, anytime people are being punched and or kicked in the face, we will be there to talk about it, and hopefully we catch you guys soon.